Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to this week's new fire episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. Boomstick and Friends. And of course, I am your host, Mr. Boomstick XL. And we have not only a star-studded panel, but we have a boatload of incredible, hot off the presses topics. And we also have breaking news surrounding 343 Industries that could potentially get a lot of people in Xbox land up in arms, but we're going to break that down. But let's get into, of course, the introductions first. And we're going to start with one of our older members like myself. You know him as I don't want to call him the best voice in Canada, because I was just going to say the mouth of the South, but that is reserved for Noof Nukem, your Canadian brethren. Please welcome the middle-aged gamer guy.
Guys, good evening, everybody. Good evening, Boom. Good evening, chat, and good evening to this panel. Yes, I am the middle-aged game guy, better known as the Mag, and I am super excited for tonight's show. I've been waiting all day. Got some great topics, so let's get into it.
Yes, and thank you for being here. Of course, some people consider him to be the mooch of Canada, of Canada. And you know what, dude? The more I listen to your voice, the more I really do think that you do have that mooch-ishness to you. Some people say I do. Maybe it's a New York thing. I don't know. But it's great to have you a part of tonight's show. And I know that you have a lot to say on some of the bigger topics that we're going to be breaking down. Next up, you know him as our resident Cape Crusader, here on time after taking down many people in the Rogue Gallery. Please welcome Cybernox.
What's up, everybody? I'm here on time and ready for prime time. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Yes, well, thank you so much for being here.
We're that much closer to our new consoles. That's all I'm saying. All right, let's get this show started.
I can't with this waiting. It's literally killing me. And I don't know how much longer. I feel like I'm scratching at the walls here, folks. A couple of weeks and we're going to be knee deep in new consoles, tons of games, and lots of podcasting going on. Next up, you know him as our resident, well, I would say Indiana Jones when he comes to seeking and searching for the perfect calzones. Please welcome the Italian Clownz, all the way from Canada. From Florida, that is sinking.
Yes, Florida is the new Canada when global warming hits, and we will see alligators amongst the icebergs. Yeah, but I still haven't found that calzone. Maybe it is up by Mag over there in Toronto. Maybe it's floating on an iceberg somewhere.
You got to come back to New York, my brother. That's the bottom line. You got to come back to New York where they make real pizza and real calzones. And hell, if you move back here, I'll even make you a pizza and some calzones.
Nice. Even the water's better in New York.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about that. Florida, not so much. Sorry if you're from Florida. We apologize for the insulting, but it is what it is. Next up, and last and no way least, he is our resident GameStop know-it-all, not to mention being one of the community's absolute finest. Please welcome Gaming Forte.
Yo, what is up, guys? It's Monday, man. You know what that means? We're only 2 weeks away.
Oh my God. I can't take it.
2 weeks, 2 weeks and 4 hours. So 52 hours away from paycheck. Greatness.
Yes,
indeed. Greatness, guys. I'm super excited for a multitude of different reasons because I just want people to stop asking me, are we going to have extras? Are you gonna have extras?
Man.
Are you gonna have extras?
It's funny. I wouldn't be surprised if you do. Obviously, again, this is a complete shot in the dark, Forte. I would like to believe, and obviously, I know that you're limited to what you can say, so be careful. Right. But I would definitely say that because of the partnership with Microsoft, because Phil Spencer has already come out and said they didn't do a second round of pre-orders to prevent scalping on these consoles, that stores will have a significant amount of both the Series X and Series S for people to walk in and buy. Now, I honestly can't say how many stores are going to be affected. I mean, is Best Buy getting 100 more or 1,000 more? I don't know. But if I'll say this to anyone that is interested in buying this console, walking in off the street to pick it up. make sure you're there early. If
Line
you can
up
be
early.
Yeah, if you could line up, folks, be safe, wear your mask, bring your coffee, bring something to sit on.
Bring
I don't
your
care if
lazy
it's
boy.
great. Yes.
I had
Bring
somebody do that to pre-order the system.
Yeah, I went and bought a chair.
Oh no, he literally had his lazy boy. He was number 3 in line to pre-order his Xbox. He got there at like 11:30 in the morning, 11:30 at night. And when I got there the next morning, he was laid back in his lazy boy. It's like, oh yeah, bro, it's time to go. I was like, man, how long you been out here? When did you bring the lazy boy? He's like, man, as soon as I saw it was only 3 people in line, I had my kids stand in line, and he went home and got his lazy boy and literally posted right there in front of the store. And a very nice, it looked like a good $2,000 lazy boy. So shout out to him. But outside of that, man, it's been cool. We did our remodel, so next time you guys go into a GameStop over the course of the next couple of weeks, you're going to see a brand new thing sitting in front of the store. So let me know what you guys think of that when you finally do go in and see how Xbox is representing in GameStop now. So all the stores should be finished with that over the course of the week. And I got my hands on a PS5 controller today.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, that's pretty dope, man.
Yeah, man, that thing. Let's be for real. Can't wait.
Yeah, nice. Now, are they available to pick up or not yet?
October 30th.
It is the 30th. Okay, yeah, I'm picking up all my stuff.
October 30th everywhere. They finally sent us notice yesterday saying that the date was moved. So now we can officially tell people because we weren't able to tell it, even though a lot of other retailers were saying it.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know because I'm going to pick up all my stuff. I have everything pre-ordered. I have every peripheral pre-ordered. And I'm looking forward to getting that. But you know what?
Yeah, at this point, I couldn't secure a pre-order. So what I'm going to have to do is just day of. Let's go.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm going everywhere.
Well, I mean, hopefully you get one because obviously, you want to be, you definitely want to be a part of it. But it's. Look, I'll put it to this way. Again, it's one of those things that, if you really want one of these things, the dedication is going to have to, you're going to have to be out there. You're going to have to wait 5-6 hours, and you're just going to have to do it safe. Because COVID is still a real thing, folks. Mm-hmm. And you want to enjoy your consoles, but more importantly, what you don't want to do is get sick and bring that shit home. So if you're going to be out there, be cautious. Don't take off that mask. Wear gloves. Bring sanitizer and just chill. Again, you could talk to fellow gamers because I did the same thing, but we all had masks when I was waiting. And I just be safe. If you're going to be out there waiting, be safe. Try and be as comfortable as you can. Comfortable shoes. If it's going to be cold, and it's probably going to be cold because we're going. It'll be the second week of November. Just dress warm. But you know what? Let's get into one of the breaking news topics that we have for tonight. Now, look, I think that as a fan of gaming, more specifically a diehard fan of Xbox, I enjoy celebrating this brand. I mean, I enjoy it so much that I go out of my way to produce not just one, but 2 Xbox podcasts per week. And I enjoy doing it. It's my favorite. It's my favorite brand. I support all the brands, but it is the brand that I love the best. I'm not ashamed to say it. That's just what it is. And as much as I enjoy putting Phil Spencer and that team at Redmond on a pedestal, there comes a time where we have to be constructively criticize when there is a gaping problem. And we got word from Brad Sams. Now, if you don't know who Brad Sams is, I've had him on the Xbox Factor multiple times. He works for Therots.com. He is the executive editor of BWW Media Group. And Brad knows his stuff. Brad is a gentleman to speak to and never talks off kilter. Well, he posted something on Twitter that was brought to my attention that has not only raised my eyebrows, I think it has raised the eyebrows of the panel. And I think that it's safe to say at this point, something is going on at 343 Industries, and it's probably not good, folks. This is what Brad Sams had to say on his official Twitter account. Whispers of more changes at 343 are circulating. Not saying anything else for now, but maybe it becomes public eventually. Well, look, folks, here's the thing. If that's not ringing the fire alarm, then I don't know what it is. Now, is it a 4-alarm fire? I couldn't tell you. What I can tell you, and this is where, if you are a fan of 343, if you're a fan of my particular work, and you get triggered by someone talking negatively or constructively negative about 343, you might want to turn off the podcast, because I'm going to bring it 100, and I'm expecting that the rest of my panel will do the same. Now, when you compare 343 Industries to Bungie, it's a no contest. And I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. Listen, I'm a dumb dude in front of a microphone that puts a couple of shows, that produces a few shows a week. Not that big of a deal. Anyone could do it. I don't have the talent that one of these developers at 343 Industries has in their fingernail, and I'm okay with that. But I am also a paying customer. I'm also a supporter of the brand, and and like sports. Like right now, I'm a diehard Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Of course, I'm smiling from ear to ear. We're the only undefeated team in the NFL, right? So I'm happy about that. But when Mike Tomlin does boob moves, I chastise him and I complain. I write on Twitter, get rid of Tomlin. I don't like what he's doing. Well, folks, listen. When comparing Bungie and what they did while they were in charge of Halo, every one of their games. Now, understand this. This is not an assumption. This is a reality. Every game that Bungie has released is a 5-star golden buzzer winner. End of story. There's no challenging it. You can hate Destiny. That has relevant to the conversation. Every game Bungie has released has been a 5-star buzzer winner. We have to look at let's just pull out the stats. So we don't make this into a personal attack against 343. Let's pull out the stats here. Halo Master Chief Collection. Right now, it's amazing. One of the best experiences if you can ever have, and it is a treasure to Xbox, hands down. With the 120 frames per second coming, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be incredible. I'm going to run through with my brother and 2 other community members the entire Halo franchise from asshole to elbow in 120 frames per second, because that's how much I love Halo. That's how much my brother Neo Mental loves Halo. But the Master Chief Collection was a disaster when it launched, and it took years to get correct. Halo 4 comes out. Amazing single-player campaign. Graphically gorgeous. It was unbelievably graphically impressive on the Xbox 360. The multiplayer, awful. Halo 5 usher it in. Now, you know my feelings about Halo 5. I don't need to stoke the fire. I thought it was abysmal. I hated it. It took me 2 years after it launched to beat it, just to say I beat it. I thought that graphically it looked great, but I thought the Prometheans were so overused and just became an annoyance. I literally shrugged through the game just to beat it, to say I beat it. And when the credits rolled, I shut it off. I never been back to it yet for the single player. And I usually play Halo single player a multitude of times. The multiplayer, Warzone, fantastic. Absolutely innovative, really fun. A total step up. Right? So now Halo Infinite. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I thought the trailer looked fantastic. I was like, oh, wow, look at all the new gameplay. Graphically, I thought it was okay. It wasn't what I was expecting, but I didn't dump on it like most of the industry did. But it's been delayed, and it's been delayed indefinitely. Now we're hearing rumblings about maybe splitting up the multiplayer with the single player. Folks, Master Chief and the Halo and the Halo franchise deserves to be put in the upper echelon and not piecemeal to the people. Okay? Now we hear this. There's problems. And if what he's saying and what I've been hearing about a restructure is coming, then let it happen already. Because apparently whatever they're doing, they're just not on the same page. And again, I'm not really dumping on I'm not dumping on 343. I'm just stating what has been presented to us, and I think I'm presenting a pretty good case as to why we want change at that studio. So I'm going to go to Mag first on this, because Mag, look, I know this was this is really shooting from the hip. I didn't even have notes for this because this came in at last minute, but I thought it was so worthy of a conversation for you as someone that is a huge fan of Halo. Is this room for concern, and should major changes in leadership be taken?
What I'm looking at here is, first of all, I'm not surprised at all. I'm not surprised at all if something nefarious is going on there, or maybe there's going to be a corporate shakeup. We kind of all saw that coming. We talked about it earlier, I believe in the late summer, August. We were having a conversation about this exact same thing, saying that maybe a leadership change needed to be made. That being said, you broke down, the original Halos that came out with Bungie, and then we, got into the Master Chief Collection. Now, there's something I wanted to bring up about the Master Chief Collection, by the way. Yes, it's magnificent now, and it took years to get there. However, does 343 honestly, now, might be controversial for me to say this, but do they honestly deserve the credit for this? I mean, whose blueprint was it? This is
great
still,
point.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They didn't do it.
Yeah.
They didn't create the games. They didn't create the narratives. They didn't create the world. They literally just remastered and tinkered with something that was already made by Bungie. So you got to give Bungie the credit. Honestly, I'm giving Bungie the credit for Master Chief Collection.
Okay.
That's the way I see it.
And that's fair. That's fair, a fair assessment. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so you look at somewhere like, a company like 343. If anybody that has the manpower, woman power, and the tools to do it, anybody could have made the Master Chief Collection. That's my controversial thought for the day, because like I said, the blueprints were created and the games were created by Bungie. Now you get into exactly what you said. I agree with everything you just said, Boom. Halo 4, amazing campaign. Multiplayer, Halo 5, I actually didn't mind the campaign that much. I actually just finished playing through it with my son, and it was okay. It wasn't great, but multiplayer was excellent. Now I'm looking at this situation. Okay, I know I'm just kind of, reiterating what was already said, but then, there's too many missteps. I'm finding there's too many missteps. There's no I don't sense confidence from this crew, from this team. And that's something that if you look at the other 23 studios that Xbox Game Studios has, they seem to have a confidence in their future. You notice that? You feel that vibe. You see those interviews, and they're talking. They're like, "Oh yeah, man, we're really looking forward to the future." And the Ninja Theories and the Bethesdas and this, they're all excited. And then 343 is just dead silent, and they're just, I don't know. They just don't seem like they're confident in their product. And when you don't portray confidence, that doesn't exude confidence. Then it doesn't give the consumer confidence. It doesn't give the fan base confidence. And then now we're hearing this from Brad Sams. Okay, this doesn't surprise me one bit. Right. What happens, Boom, you brought it up as well, when it comes to a sports team? What happens when that sports team starts to falter or starts to fail, or they're not cohesive as a unit? What's the first thing they do? They look at the leadership.
Yes.
And that's the problem. And now, actually, speaking of leadership, let me get into another thing. You had, just like you said, we were saying, Halo 4 campaign, great, multiplayer sucked. And then the other one, campaign sucked, multiplayer good. That is inconsistency. And that falls on the heads of the leadership. That's what I see, is that the leadership needs to rein that in. They need to pull it in and say, okay, guys, we can't release a half great, half not great product. They have to look at the entire product from multiplayer to single player, and they have to bring it together. And that is what the leadership does after the work is done on the ground floor. Okay. And that's the way the hierarchy works in these systems, right? You've got the grunts. Okay. You got the guys in the trenches, and they're doing all the work, and then they build it up. They move it up to the next level of management, then the next level of management. And then it gets to the top desk. And when it's sitting at the top desk and you're looking at this product, okay, pretend you got two pieces of paper in your hand. One paper is the campaign, one paper is the multiplayer. And you're looking at it, you're going, one's okay, one's not okay. Okay, we'll just release it. That falls on the head of the leadership. They are the ones that need to rope that in. And I am not surprised that there may be a shakeup coming. I mean, this is a rumor, but I mean, if it's from Brad Sams, it's a pretty solid rumor.
Yeah.
And that's the way I see it. I see that maybe that needs to happen. It probably will happen. And I don't know how that's going to affect the final product of Halo Infinite in terms of its release time or its release date. But I guess, I mean, it's up in the air right now, so we just have to kind of wait and see what happens. But this is not the time for bad press. And this is not the time to show weakness, not 2 weeks before a console release. So I have a feeling that they may talk about this in early 2021. Allow the hype of the Series X and Series S to take center stage, have confidence, and have good positive press about the console, the services, upcoming games. And then, you do the a la Sony, kind of sneak in the bad news in between all that. So hopefully it goes a little bit under the radar, but now's not the time to talk about it from their point of view. Right. So we're probably going to hear about this in January. That's my guess. I
mean, listen, look, I had an opportunity at E3 2019 to meet Bonnie Ross. It was during Xbox Fanfest, the event. And I got to tell you, she is ultra smart, very, very nice to talk to. I mean, I spoke to her for probably under 5 minutes because she's Bonnie Ross. So, I mean, and I'm nobody. So I was able to at least, say hello and tell her, my excitement for Halo Infinite. And we talked for a minute or two. And you can tell that she is extremely passionate about the Halo franchise. But as someone who is equally as passionate from a fandom point of view, for someone that is looking to buy a Master Chief statue and potentially a Series X, custom console and maybe some controllers, I obviously am just as excited from a fandom point of view. So the question then rests on who really is to blame here. Why is there so much dysfunction? And this is not the first time, Mag, that we've heard this. I want to go to Cybernox on this next. Cyber. Now, we were talking privately, and obviously, we were having a professional conversation of what you do behind the scenes. And I really want to bring you into the conversation because of what you personally do in real life, that when you're not podcasting, and when you have a product that needs to be done and someone is spending significant amounts of money. They invested $500 million into the Slipspace engine that's powering Halo Infinite. And you start to, again, we have to understand how big of a deal this is that Halo's not here. I'm crushed. But I'm also a realist, and I understand that COVID really threw a monkey wrench into the plan. Now, how much, I don't know. But with that said, giving 343 the benefit of the doubt that they would have had it ready. Look at all the marketing that has now gone to, it's going to be there, and it's still going to be used in the launch of the Series X and S. Mm-hmm. But there's Halo marketing everywhere because Microsoft, Phil Spencer, thought that this game was going to be ready for the launch of this console. Now, personally, I still think the game has the potential to be a big deal. I think, and this is just my opinion, I've said this on numerous shows, more specifically on the Xbox Factor podcast. If I were Phil Spencer and the game is that far off, hold it until the 20th anniversary, which is the 15th of November in 2021, and make it a celebration. Make it about the Master Chief. Make it about the Halo franchise that started it all for Xbox in 2001. Mm-hmm. But my question to you more specifically is, when there's this much disruption, when there's this much dysfunction going on, and there doesn't seem to be any real line of sight for what the problem is, what needs to be done?
I think what needs to be done is probably happening right now, in the background, behind the scenes. We've seen breadcrumbs of it, throughout the whole this whole time. Was something that Max said that I've actually never thought about. A lot of people give 343 the credit for the Master Chief Collection, which in one hand I will, because when you play the Master Chief Collection, you can literally play all those maps, everything, together in one playlist. You can jump from Halo Combat Evolved to Halo 2 to Halo 3. It's quite phenomenal actually to play the Master Chief Collection at this stage. But like he mentioned, the blueprint was already there. So I think it falls under that same premise that I've said before. 343 never had an identity. They've never known what to do with Halo. That's my like personal stance on it. Halo 4. They tried a couple different things. A lot of people speculate. A lot of people. The impression is, the multiplayer was garbage, and then the single player was great. And then they go, and then on Halo 5 they kind of flip those two, and it's something consistency is key. There's a reason why, kind of like what you guys mentioned, there's a reason why Bungie is consistently has some of the top games. Why? Because they understand, they know what they're doing, the passion, the vision, regardless of what the players think they want. They give players the vision that they have, and then the players adapt to their vision, and then ultimately, they come to an understanding. Hey, you know what? This actually does work. It actually does benefit the players. It's amazing, man. And there's got to be some sort of a shakeup on leadership. Both you and Mag already alluded to that. That's the first division that people look at. Why did this happen a certain way? I can tell you that, if something had happened like this on our company, that's where they go. They go to management first, and then it goes down, the ladder. So it's like, who's responsible for this? Why did this happen? What's going on? Why it wasn't X, Y, and Z taken care of sooner? Why are we delayed on this? Why didn't this work out? It's just how it is. Yeah. I don't want to say that, like you said, I've never met her personally, and never, I don't know her personally, Bonnie Ross, but it's like, this is all happening under your studio. If you don't know what's going on, then who does? You put those key people in charge of those departments because you trust them. And if something is not going the way you intended it to go, you have to hold them accountable. But there are like multiple phases which you can, I'm sure they have milestones that they have to meet, where they meet up and they check on what's going on. And for nobody to raise an eyebrow and say, you know what, this is not looking too good. We got to fix something. And they go and maybe it's a little bit unfair to just blame this all on 343. Xbox Heads Up should have been part of this too. They should have been, especially being Halo, their flagship title, they should have been on top of this. This should have been everything and that we all expected it to be. And for it not to be, and you can tell, like kind of like what you mentioned with the marketing. Their whole marketing was behind Halo. I sent you guys a picture today privately.
Yes, you did.
I bought a monster, and the back of the monster, there was Master Chief, Halo right there. So it's unfortunate, man, that this happened. It's unfortunate what is happening, but is it like a necessary thing to do? I absolutely think so. I'm not saying people need to lose their jobs, anything like that.
No, we never suggest something like that.
Right,
but
there's needs to be a shakeup. There needs to be a wake up call. There needs to be a clear vision for what they need Halo to be, or what they want Halo to be, regardless of what we think it should be. I know a lot of people in the community ask for Halo to be one thing, and then they need to get together with their creative team, figure out exactly what they want Halo to be, and bring that vision into fruition. Because if they keep listening to too much to the community and they don't have those definite decisions, and a lot of people are even speculating that some people didn't even want sprinting back. Like,
that's ridiculous.
What are you talking about? Like, how are you going to play?
You do not regress in game development.
Exactly. And another thing is, Halo was so super popular during a time where first-person shooters were very limited at that time. And then you started getting a lot more first-person shooters. And now in the market, there are a ton of first-person shooters. There are a ton of different styles. We have likes of, Fortnite, Rogue Company, you have Rainbow Six Siege, you have Call of Duty, you have a lot of these shooters that do a tremendous job of getting people hooked on their multiplayer. And if Halo doesn't have something that's going to hook the community, then they might be in a little bit of trouble. So I just hope that whatever they're doing over there is something that's going to work for all of us.
Yeah, no, absolutely, no doubt about that. I mean, and great way to break it down. I'm glad that you attacked it from the professional point of view, coming from the work that you do, and that's super important. Real quick, we have to thank someone that stepped in at the last minute. You know him as the chainsaw cutting individual that loves Gears of War. Please welcome to the show, Crispy Bomb. What's going on, Crispy?
Oh, what's up? Coming through the back door, Boom. You know how I roll, bro.
But definitely appreciate you being here, brother. Yeah, we're down one member. Obviously, of course, you know that the one panel member that's not here, he's unfortunately tied up with important family business, and obviously we'll have him back next week for sure. The Tempest Son is sorry that he couldn't be here, but the show that I run is family first. And he had to take care of family business, and that is the most important business, in my opinion. So, Crispy, we'll get to you in a second. Let me just catch up on some of these outstanding and very generous super chats that have come in. First of all, the first one of the night from a very good friend of the show. In fact, he's a very generous friend of the show. Bounty Boom drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, I'm at work listening. Give me a good show so I can get through the night. What's up, Boom? What's up, panel? What's up, everyone? Let's get it on. Well, thank you for being here, brother. And we hopefully, the two plus hours that you were going to spend with us, hopefully will help you get through your evening for sure. Viper XT, another generous friend of the show, drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says EB Games in Canada had second wave of Series X and S pre-orders today in store. Online second wave tomorrow. Really?
Nice.
Oh, dude, I was telling you guys when I did the pre-order, and I talked to Forte. Actually got a hold of me the day of the pre-order, and he asked me how many we were getting the units, and the one that I went to had 20. The one up the road had 40, I think it was 35 or 40 on the first day. And I'm hearing down south in the US, you guys were getting like 5.
Yeah, it was.
What the heck is that all about?
Yeah, we were getting like 35, 40 per store. And then I just heard, because I got a guy that works in one of the EBs near my house. And they're getting another 2 waves of Series S and X's coming in.
Wow.
No word on PS5.
Yeah, I waited in line.
We're taking a drive to Canada.
Yeah, you're right. I waited in line 4 hours for Series S. That's fine. I mean, listen, I wanted both. I got both, so I'm very happy about that. But yeah, that's awesome. I hope that those that people that really want it, and I cannot wait to hear the stories, because folks, I'll announce it now. I was going to do it on Twitter, but we're talking about it on November 10th. I have something happening for the channel, which is pretty exciting. I cannot wait to share that with everyone. But we will be doing a launch day special at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Xbox Factor podcast. I am currently putting that panel together. Some of the show notes have already been written. I'm not that far in advance. The thumbnail is ready to go, and I'm going to be unveiling something very special happening for the channel on that particular day. And let's hope that you guys and gals can turn out. Yes, we're going to be doing a show, the launch day special for the Xbox Series X and S on November 10th. So hopefully we can get a massive turnout. Let's continue with, of course, the introductions, the super chats. Max Diesel, good friend of the show, drops an outstanding and very generous $2 super chat and says, Forte, stash me a PlayStation 5 and I'll throw an extra $4 in for you.
Hey, good deal. You
got more zeros?
$4. I mean, you might be able to get a cup of coffee here in New York for sure, and you'll be lucky. Asante, another generous friend of the show, drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, "Evening panel, Halo Master Chief Collection was eventually a W by their network teams. It was putting all of those different net codes based together. tougher than it appears, but I don't disagree. 343 needs a change indeed, and I think that you are correct in saying so. We also have another super chat that just came in from Dan the Man Cunningham. He drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, I don't know what's going on with 343, but I'm going to be royally pissed if they don't bring back local co-op. That is a Halo staple and has to be there. I think they confirmed it, if I'm not mistaken, where they're going to have split screen co-op for that game. I'm almost positive. Anyone could just fact check that for me in the chat. It'd be greatly appreciated. And Dragon Force 993 drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, I love the show. Well, dude, thank you so much for the very kind words.
And we love you.
Yeah, we love you. Indeed, we do. It says Max Diesel drops another $2 super chat and says, I meant an extra $100. Oh, wow.
Oh.
Now we're talking.
No. Just replace the one with a 4 and we probably got a deal.
Holy matrimony. So, you know what? Let's, Forte, look, let's bring you into the conversation because we know that your love of Bungie runs deep.
Absolutely.
We understand what the affection is. We understand what Destiny means to you, not only as a person, but as a diehard gamer. And yes, D1, launched a little short, but they figured it out. And when the Taken King came out, it reinvigorated the series in a way that no one saw coming, and it was pure Bungie at their absolute finest. And when you look at what they did with D2, again, the opening was fantastic. It lost a little oomph, but they came back with a vengeance.
Right.
This is what we are all hoping to see, or have been hoping to see from 343. Unfortunately, they have yet to show us. Now, am I doubting that Master Chief's next adventure is not going to be epic? No. I think that they have two things going for them. Based on what we saw, Forte, I thought the gameplay looked incredibly fun. It looked like what I would want to do running around in an open world as Master Chief. But more importantly, the story seems on point of something epic. Epic like in the original Halo, potentially even Halo 3 epic. I mean, you have you're gonna have the oh my god, I had a brain for it live on the air. Yes, the story is there. We know Atriox is going to play a huge part in the game. We have heard that the Flood is going to come back in a big way. One of the the Flood, they're gross, but they're a fan favorite. And if the story can be anything like what was told in the RTS, then we're in for a real treat. We just need the graphics to meet both the story and the gameplay, and I think they're going to deliver. But my question to you, more specifically, is: are you surprised by this news bomb by Brad Sams that a shakeup could come as soon as the end of the year?
No, it should have been happened. It's something that, my feelings on 343 are very, very well stated. Like on Brap, I've been super hard on them, and the funny thing is, it's not even really just because of just the ineptitude that I felt like that was going on with the leadership at the development house in general. Because, like everybody was before me pretty much stated, they were given something that was great and everybody gave them credit for it. Basically, it's like, just because you inherited a great franchise don't mean you deserve to have a great franchise. And it's on the record, I couldn't stand Destiny in the very beginning, and I was one of those people, like, as soon as the Master Chief Collection comes out day one, I'm done with this game, because everybody knows how short and how just detached the story was.
Yes.
Everybody was expecting like this grand adventure in Destiny that never came to fruition in the very beginning. And let's be for real, but Halo is all about the the multiplayer when it comes to the long game, but people buy Halo for the single player. You play it for the single player in order to immerse yourself in that universe, and then the multiplayer just keeps you there. So
Yes.
I wanted to get back to what that was, and I was one of those fanboys that was like stuck in their minds, like, I just want to go back and play Halo. This isn't Halo. This isn't Halo. And then Master Chief Collection came out, and that was kind of the straw for me to kind of changed my perception of what not only Halo was to me, but what 343 is, because you have a game that worked fundamentally. All three parts worked, but then you tried to do something, and I give you credit for trying to innovate and try to make this way for you to experience all the different games all at one time. But it just didn't work out right. But then on top of that, we had all of the issues where it took almost 3 years to get this game to the point where it's playable. Like, yeah, it's great now, but this game launched back in 2014.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, so to me, in my mind, that was kind of the first like signs of, okay, well, this is them trying to do something ambitious. I can understand that. I liked Halo 4. Halo 4 was one of my favorite games in the 360 generation. Single player was phenomenal.
It was incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, phenomenal. Best looking game that I seen on the 360. It was my when you sit there and watch the what's name fall from the sky and the chief is on a planet, it looks like a painting. It looks beautiful. I'm like, dog, this looks really good. And then the multiplayer was bad. Then you get the, like you said, Halo 5. I actually kind of enjoyed the single player. I just think the single player was kind of, they literally did that single player injustice by promoting it the way they did. If they would have just promoted it for what it was, I think that single player was actually pretty good. But you had so many people with such high and different expectations where you're trying to, you're basically doing a straw poll, who's got Chief and who's got Locke. And we all go know in the end, we all go choose Chief, but then you make us play as Locke for most of the time. And we don't even get the payoff that you're trying to make it seem like it's going to be in the story. So even if people did enjoy the story, ultimately in their mind, they just remembered that you wanted us to have this standoff that never really materialized in the game. So that kind of just made that like one of the worst Halo games for people, even if it wasn't as bad as people remember it being. It did Halo, and then for me, I'm gonna tell you honestly, what really just made me true. And by this time, you would think that everybody says, "Oh yeah, 343 needs new leadership," but then I'm thinking like, okay. Halo Infinite, we see the trailers. We're like, okay, trailers look good. It looks like they're getting back to old school Halo. Mm-hmm. And then the one thing that 343 never had a problem with, they had a problem with in this. They showcase a game like we just came back. Halo 4, one of the best looking games on Xbox 360. Halo 5, beautiful looking game. Like there's parts where you're on the what's name, you see and you're like, whoa, this looks amazing. When you're falling down the Guardian and you're going through like the clouds and stuff. And
crazy.
It looks phenomenal. Mm-hmm, but then we get to this game. Now, granted, they're going for a completely different aesthetic. They're trying to go back to the old Combat Evolved look. And I'm like, bro, okay, this looks good, but like you said, it's not what I expected.
Right. And
then I'm expecting. Then this game launches in 4 months at this point. So at that point, I was like, dude, there's something wrong. And like everybody pretty much been saying, for me, I guarantee you, everybody there, they're probably nice people. Never met any of them a day in my life, but I don't even put this all on 343. I put this on Phil Spencer. I put this on Matt Booty, and I put them on them mostly because Phil Spencer was head of studios for the majority of this generation. Yeah. And they didn't have their hands on a post of their number one franchise like they should have had throughout this generation. Now, we all praise Phil Spencer for the changes that he made, because guess what? He saved Xbox from being somewhere we probably didn't want it to be. So that kind of rewrites the wrong that he actually has as like literally the VP of Xbox. And I think that can't be understated. But where's the leadership coming from when it comes to your number one franchise? I feel like that was where the ball was dropped. We all everybody wants to believe that 343 they're good. That's our A studio. We don't have to worry about them. But this just reminds people that dog, who cares? Even if your kid is an all A or get all 4.0s in school, every once in a while you got to be there to make sure that you mentally are checking on them, because you never know, they may need help too. And they had so many different things going on, from switching engines to saying we're going from playing on just regular Xbox One to going on the Xbox Series X. And maybe at a certain point, they're not going to tell their superiors that we can't do it, because they don't jive to me as the development house that's going to sit there and say, oh, that's something we can't do. Microsoft needed to go to them and see exactly what was going on. So I put a lot of the blame on them. But ultimately, if this is correct and what Brad Sims is saying, it's about time. Because something needs to happen for the sake of the game at this point. Because guess what? Just like Mag said, they can't really talk about it right now, because you don't want to bring Halo back into the forefront before your new system comes out. You kind of need to let Halo die, and
you kind of want people to forget that
you
Halo,
need to
right?
be, Halo don't need to be talked about no more this year. We need to get other games out there. We need to get other releases talked about. And like you said, Boom, when Halo is ready to be talked about, that's when they talk about it. If they want to talk about the restructuring, if this is a thing at 343, wait till the system comes out, because the last thing you really need is people remembering that Halo was a launch title that's not here. And that's ultimately what's going to happen if they do talk about this later. So who really knows? But ultimately, it just comes down to something needs to happen. And I don't want people to lose their job. Maybe it's just going to be a restructuring at the very top, where there will be more oversight when it comes to different people just running the company and stuff. And maybe nobody will lose their job, or people might get reassigned to different divisions and stuff. Because guess what? They made good games in the past. They just have been inconsistent in the way that they put those games together. And I think it can be saved, but it needs to have a voice to save it. And right now, 343 doesn't have that.
Yeah, no, and that's a well detailed analysis.
A little bit disheartening too. Boom.
Yeah,
it's just that Microsoft literally gave them all the resources that they wanted.
It's funny you should say that.
Time. Yeah, that's the time. New engine.
Yeah.
Like they had literally, you had one job. All right, you had one job,
but you know what?
It was a big ass job, but I understand. You know
what, Cyber, and you're right about that. But that's where I still go back and say, yes, you had all of the time. They gave them everything they needed to do it, except the one thing that 343 truly needed was oversight. They did not have oversight.
Yeah.
We're going to get, it wasn't like they said, hey, here's all the money to do whatever you do, and we're going to be checking on you like weekly or monthly to see how your progress is going. No, they said, here's the bag, here's the bank, take all the time you need and let us know when you have something for us, instead of it being the other way around. And that's where the miscommunication was. This is going to be their chance to fix that by doing something that they probably don't want to do, but they're going to need to have to do.
Mm-hmm. And you're absolutely right. Clowns, I want to bring you into the conversation because, you've heard what everyone has said. But one of the things I kind of want to harken back to is last week we talked about it on the Xbox Factor podcast, where there were rumblings about something that Phil Spencer said in an interview about potentially the next Master Chief Adventure potentially coming out after the multiplayer. And of course, I was tremendously against that. Again, maybe because I'm the old man in the room. Okay, I don't like change. My Halo releases with a multiplayer and a single player, and I am one of the people that plays both. My brother Neo Mental, we are the ones that play it both. We want to play the single player, and then we want to dive into multiplayer. That's what we do. Now, I get it. There's a lot of people that don't do that. But when you heard this, he didn't say this was specifically definitely happening. He said, I'm going to leave that decision to Bonnie Ross and the team at 343 Industries. And everyone was a little shaken up by this. Everyone's like, well, wait a second. What do you mean? What do you mean this is going to release separately? I don't understand what's happening here. This seems very odd. And now this story breaks, and it's not even a story yet because it's just a tweet from Brad Sams. But Brad, I know the guy. I know he has connections, and I know he knows what he's talking about, and he doesn't shoot from the hip. You know why? Because he is a media professional, and he needs to keep in touch with Microsoft because that's part of his job. And he wouldn't say what he said on the tweet if it wasn't true and that there wasn't something to it. For you as a fan of Halo, is a shakeup needed to potentially save the flagship franchise for Xbox?
Well, Boom, I'll say this. I never liked 343, to be honest with you. I mean, but at the same time, I wasn't like as big of a Halo fan as you guys were. I just didn't like 343's versions of Halo until Halo 5. That was the only one I liked out of the whole Halo series. I liked the single player and the multiplayer. However, with that said, the Master Chief Collection was a huge disaster. That game should have never been released in the state that it was released in. And no matter how much content they threw at us for an apology, it just didn't seem fair to all those people that paid for it, that waited for it, that were excited about it. And it took them what did Game Informer say? Like 3 years
to 3 years to get it to the state that it is now.
Yeah, I mean that's just ridiculous. You pay for a game, a collection of games where the blueprint was already there, and then 3 years later, you finally have a complete working game the way that it should have been from day one. So whatever's going on at 343, there's definitely something that's not working right. All the cogs in a wheel are not working together. There's something wrong over there, and it needs a shake up. I'll say this, Boom. I think that it's really a shame that Microsoft got rid of Lionhead and kept 343. If I was in charge of Xbox, I would have got rid of 343 a long time ago and kept Lionhead and just said, listen, here's a bigger budget, push out what you got, let's make this work. I think that Lionhead produced better games than 343. 343 I think was just a waste on Microsoft's budget, and I have no clue what they were doing. Maybe they were doing something like Platinum Games, just hanging out, taking pictures at coffee shops or something, hanging out, downtown Seattle. I don't know, hanging out at Starbucks, but whatever it was, they did not get the Halo Master Chief Collection working, and that is a huge problem. I mean, 3 years, Bum. How would you feel if every game took 3 years to get working from the day that you bought it? The video game industry would have failed. People would be so ticked off.
Yeah, I mean, look. I'm not a developer, folks. I don't even claim to attempt to know what it goes into the magic that makes a game. But I can tell you that, there is something wrong. Unfortunately, change has to come. Now, I will say this publicly. You never want to see anyone lose their job. I think that I think Forte said it earlier. The best thing is to potentially reassign, put people in other places where they can help develop games. One of the things that I have a funny feeling that at one of these big power meetings, like they posted on Twitter where all the heads of the studios were together, I wouldn't be surprised if 343 is going to start getting help from the initiative, potentially getting help from the coalition, potentially getting help from, Ninja Theory. I think it's going to be an all hands on deck kind of a situation to get this game right, make sure that it releases the way it's supposed to release, and we're all going to get something special. But I think it's going to be an all hands on deck. But Crispy, I'm very happy you're here. Besides, being brothers and enjoying our time to hang out, I saw something on Twitter that made me think of you. And someone said, could you imagine if the coalition were thrown the budget that 343 was allotted, what they could do with Gears 6? And when you look at, again, folks, 2 different studios, 2 different titles, 2 pillars of the Xbox brand. And let's just take, for instance, one of the lead stories on tomorrow's special edition Xbox Factor podcast is what they're doing at the Coalition for Gears 5. And what they have listed is nothing short of an epic production unlike anything I've personally ever seen in my 40 years of gaming. But I mean, they are, this is just a snippet of what you're going to get tomorrow. Because Batista propositioned him playing Marcus Phoenix in the movie adaptation of Gears of War. They went in and they allowed you to take his likeness and replace Marcus Phoenix in the game, in every cutscene, in every part of that game with Batista's likeness from the DLC that was free. And that's a free DLC. And that is just the tip of the iceberg. So when you talk about a studio that has a quarter, potentially even less than a quarter budget of something like 343, which have been working on Halo Infinite for 5 years now, and it will be 6 once we get into 2021. And you see what Rod Ferguson, who's no longer with the studio, what they were able to do with Gears 5. It's incredible. For you personally, seeing even without Rod there, them still making big strides in Gears 5 to deliver 120 frames per second in the multiplayer and a locked 4K 60 ultra settings on the Series X for the single player. And then you see what's going on at 343 Industries. My question to you very simply is, does a massive shakeup from top to tip need to happen at 343?
Well, and I appreciate you bringing the coalition in here, Boom, because that's actually where I was going to go.
I knew it. And when I read that, dude, you happen to be here. It's again, the stars have aligned for us tonight.
So you have to understand that Rod had a vision, and number one, he wanted to bring the passion into his new development studio. He had to make everyone else understand what Gears actually is. And I mean, you have to realize that, Ultimate Edition came out only a little bit over a year before Gears 4. So that means there was 2 teams working on 2 different things, but they all had the same goal: learn what Gears is. And as far as remakes, Gears Ultimate Edition is one of the greatest. Okay. I'm sorry, if you haven't played it, you should, because it literally takes the PC elements. There's like a good 4 to 5 hours just about, if you're playing on a harder difficulty, that you never played, and it's pretty incredible. And the visuals are great, and it's going to look even better on the Series X. The beauty of it is that they came out with Gears 4, which I still say Gears 4 is better than 5 as far as the campaign and story. And even the multiplayer seems to play better than what we had with Gears 5. Now, the thing is that Rod basically was halfway out the door when Gears 5 came out, but they haven't given up. And that's the beauty of it. And actually, you can see the passion in what they're doing right now. It's pretty incredible. And that's the problem, because you look at Master Chief Collection came out 2 years after Halo 4. Halo 4, you had it right with the campaign. You screwed up on the multiplayer. Then you screw up for a couple of years with MCC, and you think, okay, what's going on here? And then you bring out Halo 5, and the campaign sucks to most people. Not everyone, but to most people. Right. And then the multiplayer is great. So what do? Nobody said nothing about the visuals at any point in time with either of those 2 games. The problem is you haven't made a great multiplayer and a great single player, which, if you want to go to a Gears game that doesn't have both, it is Gears Judgment, and that's it.
Yeah.
Gears, as far as we're concerned, for the people that play Gears, at least for a period of time, every one of them is great with both, except for Judgment. And that's where literally I watched the game die, and that's where Epic said, I'm done with it. We're done. Here you go. And then, Microsoft was smart and said, hey, if we're going to do this, we need at least somebody that knows about Gears, because that's the way it goes. But that's not what they did with 343. And now all of a sudden they're bringing the dude from Bungie. I can't remember his name. My apologies. But now they're bringing him in, and he's like, this is all screwed up. That's probably what he's saying. This is all screwed up. And we could love Bonnie Ross, but at the end of the day, she has not steered this in the right direction. Yes, are the games good? Sure. I mean, they're not horrible. They're not your Days Gone or your Battletoads. They're not in the 70s or 60s. You know what I mean? They're good games, but are they Halo great? No, they're not. Okay, not what everybody expects. And then when you go and see the visuals from Infinite, you're not happy with it because you're actually happy with the visuals that you've gotten from 343. So they completely changed their whole thing because they were just listening to the people that have played Halo forever, but not the new people that were involved. And that's where I go and say, I wasn't mad that Rod left. He was done with the franchise, finally, after all these years. Think about it. But he at least steered the developers that are there now in the right direction. And he at least gave them a blueprint of what Gears players like myself actually want. And I continue to play Gears 5. Yes, the matchmaking is driving me nuts, but that's one part of so many things that they fixed. And they fixed it much quicker than the Master Chief Collection. And there was no problem when Ultimate Edition came out. Basically none. Everybody was happy with that game. Okay? So they didn't start right. They didn't establish a base to build upon. Instead, they established a base to build upon on the campaign for Halo 4, but then they went to the Master Chief Collection after that. And you're talking a budget much larger than the Coalition gets. I don't understand it. I don't understand where they're going. And you know what? If you got to delay the game for another 2 years and it's going to be better than what we saw, I'm fine with that. And it's sad to say, but Halo Infinite, yes, it feels like you're playing Doom almost. Like you might as well just have id Software get involved. You know what I'm saying? Like you might as well make it. I mean, you go and play Doom Eternal, and then you look at Halo Infinite and you say, man, Doom Eternal looks really good. You know what I'm saying? And this is on last gen stuff. Yeah. So I'm sorry, like a lot of people won't like what I have to say, but there needs to be a change somewhere. And I think it starts at the top, to be honest.
Well, yeah, just so you know, I pulled a story from August 27th, 2020. Halo veteran Joseph Staten rejoins 343 Industries to get Halo Infinite back on track. And I said this when that story broke. I originally said that he is probably going to be the one to take Bonnie Ross's position as head of 343. Now, if that's going to happen, I don't know. I don't have inside baseball, connections like that. But he obviously was rehired. He is, when you talk about Halo, you're gonna in that same conversation, you're gonna talk about Joseph Staten. And I believe that he has been brought in to right the wrongs of what 343 is up to. I don't think, much like it took Phil Spencer a while to turn the big Microsoft ship around to the powerhouse that it's going to become, it has become and will continue to dominate in the next generation. I think it's going to take some time, to get the Halo Infinite right. And at this point, if they need 12 more months, 13 months as of this podcast to do it, then I say let them have the 13 months and then try and make this a celebration launch on the 15th of November in 2021, and then give us the game that we all know that studio can and should deliver to its millions and millions of Halo fans. And listen, again, this is a great, solid topic. Look, you guys want to laugh because I had to go into my YouTube studio to pull up the super chats because I missed some of them. So I don't want to, I want to make sure everyone gets credit for donating to the show. And I noticed that I lost 10 subs already. And that's fine. That's fine. If you want to unsub the channel because I'm speaking the truth, that's okay, brother. Listen, brother, sister, you can find another podcast that you can support and do your thing. I'm not mad, not even remotely, because you get truth on this. We don't dump on a particular brand just to dump. We're not toxic like that. I think this has been a very, very critical but necessary conversation. And I think we did it with tact. I think we did it with respect. And I think we brought the evidence to the case being held that there's problems at 343 Industries and they need to fix their shit. End of story. And we deserve it as fans. We deserve better. And that's the end of the story. But I want to read some super chats off, and then we will get back to one of the. This is a more light and fun topic. I don't think everyone's going to appreciate it. Clownz, I know you had some things to say that you didn't like about it, but we're gonna go to you first on this when I get done with these super chats. We have Mac Diesel drops another $2 super chat and says, okay, 401. Forte, $401 is what he's saying with a big smiley face. Black Eye Dog, a very generous friend of the show, drops an outstanding $10 super chat and says, thanks for all the hard work and great content you provide. Boom, we'll do it. Now, more importantly, thank you for not only being so generous, but more importantly, supporting this old man's dream. Because obviously, without an audience, there's no show. And the fact that we have over 500 people here, that's saying something that you guys and gals are enjoying the content. I definitely appreciate it. We have Safe Space Invader, drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, have faith, young one. Obi-Wan hand wave. I have faith. I do. I think we're going to get a great game. I just think they need some change. We have Jay Rose, drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, come 2 years, Microsoft are going to be dropping games like their Netflix on Game Pass. This is what is going to put them over the top of PlayStation, Nintendo, etc. Oh, there's no doubt about it. What they're going to do there and what is going to be incredible. But this next topic took the world by storm, and in the best fun possible way. Now, Microsoft, as we know, has embraced memes before. But this particular embracement, if you will, comes at the form of a life-sized Xbox Series X fridge that stays nice and chilly. And obviously, look, Microsoft embraced Halo Infinite's Craig meme, and I wrote something to Bonnie Ross. I bought the 343, and I'm hoping that they take my advice. If this happens, remember you heard it here, and I got the tweet to prove it. I think what they need to do with Craig, personally, Craig the Brute, not Craig the podcaster, which is me. They need to incorporate Craig into the UN, make him a Marine, make him the first convert of the Brutes to join the Team Halo. That's what I think that they should do. They should do a whole story. They should do a whole lore. It should be from the ground up. He should be embraced. He should be considered the Carmine of the Gears franchise, except don't kill him. Keep him around. Make his story important. I'm serious. Like, I want to see that happen because I think that. It would be great.
Carmine has that's the thing.
Carmine starts pretty cool, yeah.
Dude, Carmine, we literally voted to have Clayton Carmine survive in Gears 3.
Yes, I voted to save Carmine. I did.
And he's a badass. It was a perfect Carmine to keep.
Yeah, absolutely. So listen, the old saying, gentlemen, when life or the gaming industry hands you a bag of lemons, make lemonade. And thanks to the revamped marketing team at Redmont, Microsoft has found a way to make the Xbox Series X fridge meme into a real life working refrigerator. Now, YouTuber megastar Justine unboxed the monster fridge, which actually came in an Xbox Series X box. It was kind of dope. I'm not going to front. And obviously, if that wasn't enough for you, who I just found out about this, rapper turned, herbalist, if you will, Snoop Dogg actually has. Not only is he a huge Xbox fan, but he has a real working fridge in the Series X as well. Now, John Muncie, senior marketing manager at Xbox, leading the marketing behind the Xbox Series X and S marketing team, had this to say on Twitter. He says, yes, we did. Hashtag Xbox Series X fridge is real. Thank you, Internet, for the suggestion. Hashtag power your dreams. Now, folks, again, this is for fun. This is not really a major topic. We're probably going to spend 15-20 minutes and get into the crux of the rest of the show. But I think that there might be some people on this panel that are a little divided by this. And Clownz, I want to go to you first on this because you we're a little taken aback by this marketing. In your opinion, you don't think that it's well spent marketing dollars from Microsoft, that they spent I would imagine a significant amount of money per fridge to make. Now, I don't know how many they made, but I would imagine that a lot of people are going to be looking to buy this. What are your thoughts on this? Now, was this a waste of marketing money?
I just think they really went too far with this. I think they were just having a lot of fun, and maybe some of that extra 7.5 or billions or whatever they had going, when they were going to buy TikTok, maybe they just bought some fridges and they're like, yeah, let's just give it to some celebrities out there, cool them down, let them have a good time. I just, because it's not going to be mass marketed. Like, I can't buy an Xbox fridge. This is just a marketing gimmick that they did to hand out to celebrities so that the rest of the world can stare at these celebrities and be like, oh my God, my eyes are so big. Justine just got a new fridge with an Xbox logo. I mean, imagine if Sony did this. People, Xbox fans making fun of Sony for it. I just think that this was a waste of money on Microsoft's part, but they got plenty of money to waste anyway. So why not get celebrities a fridge? I mean, who else knows what they stacked Snoop Dogg's fridge with? Who else knows? Maybe there's some plants in there too that they wasted money on for the guy. I just personally, guys, I just think that it could have been used elsewhere. Maybe they could have bought Sega. Maybe they could have done something else with that money. Maybe bought the Sonic franchise. Maybe bought the Yakuza franchise. I don't know. But a refrigerator? Like, how much did they spend on these fridges? They had to contact a refrigerator manufacturer to make these fridges and then ship them over probably from China or Mexico, wherever they're made, unless they just paid somebody who refurbishes fridges even more money just to refurbish the front doors of the fridge and then paint the rest of it. I don't know. But boom, that money could have been used elsewhere. They could have, you know what? They could have used that money to give prizes for Fanfest that didn't work out. They could have said, you know what? We jumped up Fanfest. I know you were going to get, some Microsoft credits and, $10 off the Kishi Razer controller. But you know what? Instead of buying fridges, let's give everybody that was in Fanfest Razer Kishi controller. I'm sure it's cheaper than buying these fridges and then sending them out with the Xbox One X, putting a cake in there for Snoop Dogg, and loading up the fridges with water or branded water or whatever else they did that they probably got a tap faucet. But it's just, this is just not the way to do marketing, in my opinion. And I know some people in the chat are probably going to hate me for my opinion, and I'm sorry that I'm saying this because I am a true Xbox fan at heart. Everybody on this panel knows how much I love Xbox, and a baby stole my Series X. Maybe that baby should have had a fridge dropped on it. I don't know, but no, boom, this is not how you should market next generation consoles. No, absolutely not.
Who's yelling now?
No.
Jelly. If he would have got the fridge, he wouldn't be saying shit right now.
No, that is not true. You know what? I would have said Game of Forte. I didn't, I got gypped at GameStop with the Series X. I'll trade you a Series X fridge for the Series X console. You just pay the ship and I'll get this junk out of here.
Yeah.
I'll trade you.
That's what I would have done. I mean, it's just boom. Just from my point of view, I'm sorry. I'm really passionate. No, I can't pay for shipping on that
thing.
Pay
for the shipping for the fridge?
No, that thing's a piece
I'll
of
pay
junk.
for shipping.
Sure.
I'll pay for
I could probably sell it at a junkyard for like $300-$400.
That's
$300-$400.
Look,
Yeah.
I'll say this, Clown. I get it. I understand that that you're not a fan of it and that you think that's a waste of money. But I disagree, and I disagree wholeheartedly because with Microsoft taking what was a meme, right? Was when if you remember when they unveiled the Series X, people were doing memes all over the place, fridge being one of them. Obviously, you look back to May 13th when Aaron Greenberg had the picture of it in his living room. I mean, in his kitchen, which was kind of funny. The camera wasn't good, but the whole prop was funny.
There was a little bit of foreshadowing right there, I think.
Yeah,
I
mean, about that.
Listen, I see the chat going off here saying it's only 3 fridges. It's only 3 fridges that we know about that they've shown. Maybe there is actually no mind share. Maybe they sent out 3,000 fridges and we only see 3 because nobody else wants to show them. How do you
I
guys
don't know about that,
how much
dude.
they sent?
I would
how
show
many
mine
fridges?
off. I would
yeah.
show mine off.
I know you guys would, but how do we know that every celebrity would show up? Maybe Jeff Keighley's got one, and he's like, "Hey, Yoshida, I got this crappy fridge. You got a Sony logo I could throw on top of it before I show this thing off?" I
Killing
mean,
me, Clownz.
he probably got one. Jeff Keighley probably has one. And you know what? Kind of funny. Greg Miller's probably got one. Yeah, and everybody over at IGN's probably got one. I'm sorry. That's the way I think. That's just the way I think.
Listen,
maybe every GameStop's going to get one.
Actually, I will say this. Justine and Snoop Dogg are actually huge Xbox fans.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
They are huge. Like, most of their content is Xbox related. If not, at least for Justine, it's a Nintendo after that. She barely touches the PlayStation. And Snoop Dogg is like purely an Xbox gamer. So,
Die-hard Xbox fan, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's literally like said some stuff that like had lost followers and stuff because he's been so pissed off about what they've done at certain points in time. So, I mean, I understand where you're coming from, Clownz, but it's cheeky, it's funny to me, and I mean, I have like multiple people like, dude, I'll pay like $5,000 to $10,000 for that thing.
I've actually had people say, "Can I buy that?" I've asked people, boom, is there a place we can buy that? People would actually go out and buy the Series X fridge.
I would.
If they mass market it like that, then I'd be okay with it because then every fan out there can get one. Then I'll be okay with it. I mean, I wouldn't get one, but I'd be happy that all these other fans could get it. I just think it's wrong that they selected a select few to go ahead and get the fans. And just because Justine says there's only 3 made, she's not always accurate. Sorry for whoever said that in the chat. And no, I'm not going on like some crazy fanboy. I saw somebody else say something, where was it, in the chat? That Travis Scott was a waste of money for PlayStation. Absolutely. I think PlayStation marketing is terrible. I would never agree with half of PlayStation's marketing, but I just think they could have done something else for Xbox, another way to promote it. I don't know, maybe, do some type of promotion where fans get to play with celebrities online for a day or for an hour or for 30 minutes.
They've done that. You know what it is, Clowns? I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm not a psychologist, but I did work in the field from my prior position. I'm going to be honest with you. If I could throw a quick diagnosis to you, I think that the situation with the baby is so rooted with you that you didn't get your ex, that when you see the ex, anger comes forward. And
Graphic God's going to make a meme of that baby for me so I can wear it at the GameStop. Because I walked back in that GameStop today, and that manager's heard me on podcasts and seen my tweets, and he did not want to look at me. Because I will talk to him before and after work, and I'll stand at his car and talk to him about the situation. I don't care.
Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. From a law enforcement point of view, that might be considered on the form of on the short line of stalking. I'd be very careful. I'm going to be honest with you.
It's public property. As long as I don't follow into
very careful. Clowns,
private property.
Listen, let me get to Cybernox. Cybernox, what are your thoughts on the Xbox Series X fridge? I mean, most people, except for Clownz, seem to be like, wow, that's actually kind of cool that they did that because they didn't have to do that. And of course, they're going to give it to their biggest fans. And listen, do I consider myself a huge fan? Yes. Would I like a fridge? Yes. But I mean, I have under 7,000 subs. Big deal. No one cares about Boomstick. But I can tell you that people care. But Justine and Snoop Dogg, again, big celebrities with big followings and are big Xbox fans. It makes sense. What are your thoughts on this? Is this something to get all up in arms about, or just to enjoy the fun of it?
Holy shit! Where can I get one of those fridges? That's all I'm saying. Get it to my house right now. Right now. I love it, man. This is awesome. I mean, they only made 3 fridges. From what Justine said on her video, only her and Snoop Dogg got one, and they're gonna give the 3rd one away. So I'm in anticipation waiting for when that sweepstakes comes out. I thought it was cool, man. They're taking something that people went with, and there was a huge meme, and then they turned it around, and there you go. You guys wanted a fridge. Here's the fridge. I love the way it looks. Clownz. So what I know about like certain fridges and things like that, you can make custom panels. They don't have to make the whole fridge custom. You can take the front panel off and you can make that, you can take the side panels off and you can make custom. So I don't think they spend as much as you think they spend on these fridges. But man, this fridge has got custom speakers. You open the door. When you see that wholesome meme, like the aura, like everything, it's like
Green. It's green.
It's like, oh my God. Let's
awesome.
I'd be opening and closing that all the time, Oh my God, that fridge. I mean, it's a big fridge. That's a big fridge right there.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool, man. I thought it was cool that they did that. It shows that Microsoft is not taking themselves way too serious. They're aware of what everybody's saying online. They're aware of all the memes, and they just took one of these and they ran with it. I thought it was smart with them. Everybody's now is talking about it again. You know what I mean? They're talking about the Series X. They're talking. I thought it was great, man. And then you have two people, whether how you feel about either one of them, but they reach an absurd amount of people, and and not just gamers either. I just seen it like with tech and this and X and Y, and Snoop Dogg. So many people follow him, so it's amazing, man. I thought it was good. I thought it was clever. I applaud Microsoft. I thought it was really cool. I love the way the fridge looks. It's literally a replica of the Series X. Like everything from the back of the fridge, like all the ports are there. Obviously, they're not, they're
there for show, but still,
for show.
It's one to
it's
one.
Like the whole thing. The handle is the disk drive. I was just like, oh my God. The light turns on, the Xbox logo. I mean, come on, get this fridge to my house, please, Microsoft. If you're listening, deliver it, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it, man. I love it. I love it.
Yes.
I gotta say one more thing, Boom. I have to say something. So if they are giving away a fridge in a contest and I win it, I will, if Fugly pays for the shipping, because he's in the chat saying I'm salty. If I win that fridge and you pay for the shipping, Fugly, I will send it to you. I promise you, mark my words, that I do not think the fridge is that big of a deal. Not salty about it.
Clowns. You see what happens? It's Fluggy. Who was it?
Fugly.
I will send him the fridge.
It is actually me. Fugly on the chat is actually me. Cyber.
Yes.
That's Cyber. I will send you the fridge if you pay shipping. I will send it to
you. Mag, let's get your opinion on this. I mean, do you consider this to be pure genius, that they're just rolling with the punches?
Okay, well, you know what? Very similar to you and Cyber. I'm gonna go against Clownz here. Sorry, Clownz. I love this fridge, but first of all, where's my fridge? Phil, I know you're listening. Okay.
Oh, yes, he listens to the show, by the way.
But I know he's wearing a Cuphead sweater right now, sitting on the couch with a tea, and he's going, "Oh my God, this mag is talking about me again." Yes, I am talking about you again. I want that fridge. I don't care if you have to triple my Game Pass Ultimate subscription. I'll pay it. Okay, you want to bolster numbers? You want to get to 20 million? Charge me, okay? Just give me the damn fridge. Anyways, don't make me beg. But anyways, in all seriousness, you know what they should do? Instead of those monster Xbox fridges that are like the size of a bloody skyscraper. And by the way, Clownz,
I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah, of course you know where I'm going with this. Clownz, how funny was it when you said that if they made a PS5 fridge? If they made a PS5 fridge, it'd be the size of the Empire State Building. The real console is almost the size of a bloody fridge.
Yes.
Jesus. Can you imagine?
Yeah,
Holy
that's
mackerel.
true.
Anyways, they need to make an affordable bar size fridge that you can buy at Walmart, and for you guys in the States, Target. Yeah. Okay. Or online, Amazon, wherever. Get me an Xbox Series X bar fridge. Okay.
Yes.
Not too big. What is it? Like 1.5 feet, 2 feet by like 1.5 feet, whatever the hell it is. Okay, I got a nice bar fridge, but I trade it for the Series X bar fridge. Anyways, that'd be a little bit more realistic. I would definitely buy one. Xbox marketing has been on point since the Game Awards 2019. Now, instead of hiding behind a corporate curtain, okay, they're right there. They're in your face in a nice way, okay? Transparency. And it also, the way that I look at this whole situation when it comes to their marketing, okay, it humanizes the company. Now, you see names, you see faces, you see their personalities. They're people just like us. I mean, you got Phil, with his sweater and his jeans on. He's talking games, and he's shooting the breeze. He's just a guy. Okay, he's just like us. Same with the rest of the team. Okay, we know all these guys. How funny is it that this is a corporation, a tech corporation, and we know all the execs like as if they were on our favorite sports team?
Yes, indeed.
Isn't it kind of funny?
Yeah, it is.
You know, it's like Phil's the quarterback, and you got Matt Booty's the wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know all these guys. So that, you know, what that does is that it creates camaraderie, familiarization, and comfort, in my eyes anyway. Now, I've reached out to Phil over a year ago, by the way. It's something you know about, Boom. And you know about this anyway. And he got back to me personally.
Yes, he sure did.
And that, to me, is incredible. Like, you think, I think I'm not going to bring up this whole like console business, but let's face facts here. You think Sony's like that? I don't even know who works at Sony other than Cerny and Dance Moves. I mean, they're distant and cold and locked away in their castle like Willy Wonka. You know what I'm saying? Like Sony, you know, you get the old guy outside of the castle is like, the Sony staff has not been seen in over 30 years. They've been locked in there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, maybe that's why the PS5 isn't ready. They got Oompa Loompas making them. I don't know what's going on over there. Okay, I don't know what the hell's going on over there. But anyways,
my God,
what I also like is that they face, Boom said this, they face their shortcomings head on.
They sure did. Yeah.
Okay. They face it head on, and that also humanizes the company. Okay. I know I'm getting a little bit deeper into the marketing as opposed to the Xbox fridge, but this is kind of where I'm going with this. But you know what it reminds me of, actually? I was just thinking about this. 8 Mile with Eminem. You remember that last rap battle he had where he basically just lays out all his shortcomings to the dude, and it totally humanizes the character and makes him stronger. And, you know, he's like, yeah, I'm a piece of trash. Yeah, I live in a trailer park.
Tell these people something they don't know about me.
Come on. Exactly. He basically drops with the mic and says, tell them something they don't already know about me. And that's the kind of vibe I'm getting from Xbox, where they're like, yeah, we have some shortcomings. Yeah, we make mistakes. Guess what? Even though we're a $1 trillion corporation, we're humans. And we make mistakes, so not everything is perfect. And at least they're out there. And so you can relate to that. You can warm up to that, you know, as opposed to this ice cold sort of buy product, must buy, you know, and that's it. You know, and that's the way I see it. And you know what? It's working. And because you know what? Videos are being made about these fridges.
Yes.
Okay. And everything else that they've
awareness.
By the way,
awareness.
Absolutely awareness.
Mind share, market share.
Thank you. Boom's got it. And I bet you $1 million, by the way, when Halo Infinite does come out, you bet your ass that Craig is going to be a boss in that game.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And they're going to and everybody's going to have a big old laugh about it, and it'll all be fine because all the drama will be over with about Halo Infinite. But you know why it's working is because we're sitting here talking about it right now. And so what's Xbox doing? And what's Phil doing right now? Wearing that sweater, okay, drinking that tea. He's going, mission accomplished.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, look, I said this before, and I'm serious. Like, I understand, like, Meg brought up a great point about Craig being a boss. I don't think that would be as fun because, listen, to be honest with you, we know that the Banished are going to be, they're all badasses, right? We know what we're up against. But wouldn't it be freaking epic if, like, a troop transport lands, right? And, you know, the regular Marines from the UNSC come out, right? And the little grunt guy. And then out from the back, like the Incredible Hulk or the Thing for the Avengers or the Fantastic Four steps out. Okay, let's take care of business. And he's wearing their gear, carrying the biggest gun you've ever seen. And he runs at the Banished and starts picking them off left and right. I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. I mean, come on. How awesome would that freaking be?
I would love if he was like what was that guy's name from Thor Ragnarok? Is it Krog?
Yes.
Oh my God.
It would be ideal. It would be
even
ideal.
The same voice too.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking.
Yes. I gotta get Reiko Watiti to do the voice for him.
Yes.
He goes, hello, I'm Craig. Yeah.
Hey there.
Yes, that's perfect.
Oh, so good. Oh my God. We have to make that a topic one day. But listen, let's get Forte. Forte, you obviously are in the business of video games. That's your livelihood. You understand that mind share and market share, whether it be on a serious note with the console's power and T-flops and everything else that goes with it. And then, of course, there's the silliness aspect of marketing that is, in my opinion, just as important. What are your thoughts on Microsoft's handling of the fridge meme and the fact that they actually made real fridges?
Oh, dude, listen, man. Let's be for real. When the whole Craig thing started with 343 and how they went out and actually named the brute and everything, I thought it was like the number one thing I always tell people: if you're ever a part of a meme, embrace it. If you embrace it, people will talk about it like, oh, at least they're kind-hearted. You kind of take the wind out of the sail of it. So you're like, oh man, they actually making fun of it. So I like that they're embracing it. And the fact that they actually made refrigerators, bro, let's be for real. As soon as I saw it, I was like, bro, who don't want that in their like, who wouldn't want that in their man cave? Let's be for real. Yeah. Who would not want? Like, is it practical? Absolutely not. Did you see the box that it came in? And I just I'm looking at the box. I'm like, bro, first of all, I would love for that to be the box that was sitting in front of my house to say, yo, here's the next gen Xbox Series X, and this is the box it comes in. And guess what? It's not a system, it's a refrigerator in a box. And all the fact that she opened the door and it made the Xbox like the boot up sound effect.
That was so dope. Oh,
bro. Like, let's be for real. I'm honest. I'm gonna tell you the honest to God truth. Half of these influencers kind of, they get hyped up just for hyped up sake. I think they sent these to the right people. They sent one to Snoop Dogg and they sent one to Justine. Snoop Dogg is a true Xbox. He loves Xbox. He's a gamer. I remember.
Did you see all that bling he was wearing at the Xbox?
Yeah, I remember during, I think it was a couple years, like 3-4 years ago, he was at EA playing Battlefield with all the people up there on the stage and stuff, playing Star Wars. He's a true gamer. He truly enjoys gaming. And the one thing I will say that people don't realize about Justine, she's an Xbox first person when it comes to like her console of choice. So she's always been repping the Xbox ever since, a long time back in the day when she first got the little prototype box of the Xbox. She compared it with every Xbox she's had ever, since day one. Now, granted, most of those she probably never paid for because she's such a big influencer. But the fact that she's always, when she's doing her edits, you always see her little Xbox controller on the desk or even stuff that has nothing to do with Xbox is not even a part of the promotion of what she's talking about. You can always see Xbox something around her setups because she's a fan of Xbox. So when I saw her excitement of opening and seeing that was like in the box, sometimes people can just get hyped for hype's sake. Like I said, I was genuinely happy to see her get something like that because it's like, dog, who wouldn't want to get something like this sent to them and be like, bro, this is next level type stuff. I want this sitting in my man cave in the basement so I can go grab me a drink out of it as I'm about to boot up Halo. You know what? Matter of fact, I can tell my friend, close your eyes. What do you think? The refrigerator or the Xbox turning on and you play the sound, you open the refrigerator door and let the sound effect. People gonna be like, oh man, you just turned the Xbox on. No, bro, it's my refrigerator. It's my refrigerator making sounds like that, bro. It's got the neon green inside of the I like that they did it because it shows that Xbox has been they're about fans first. That was all their mantra was throughout the middle of this generation. And that's serving them very well when it comes to the marketing side. And when Sony starts sending out their PlayStation 5s to people and all these people are getting excited, like, look, I got a box. I got an Xbox. I got a PlayStation sitting in my house. Look at what I got right here. It's a PlayStation box and we're unboxing the box.
Oh, Xbox, yeah, you do like IGN, an unboxing
they unbox the box. Exactly.
Yeah,
guess what? Xbox said, you know what? I got something better for you. We're going to unbox a box that's bigger than your box that has the box that the system's going to come in. But guess what? It's not a box. It's a refrigerator. That was pretty fire too. Yeah. The outside, the box itself was like a box. It literally looks like it's the retail packaging. They literally, basically Justine literally opened without the system being the biggest retail box of the Xbox Series X. So I'm excited. I wish we were getting something like this, but this just shows me that Microsoft, they kind of get it. They're doing a different type of marketing push. A lot of people wonder, like, well, where's the commercials and stuff like that?
I don't know, what was I watching? I was watching Sunday Night Football sort of half a dozen times. I was watching Hellstrom with the Mrs. Boomstick on Hulu, and that Xbox commercial at least half a dozen times in one episode.
Yep. So they're ramping it up, man. So I think this is just the beginning. The systems, like I said, man, that they'll be here in just over 2 weeks. So this is just the next step. But this is something that I think everybody would want. And if they say, bro, who wants a big old refrigerator of an Xbox, then you're not a real fan of what they're trying to do. Because trust me, if PlayStation did this, you'd be like, oh, a PlayStation just gave us a refrigerator, or it gave me a giant router or something.
Yeah.
So let's be real, man. It was cool to see it. I'm glad. I'm just happy the people that got it are true Xbox fans, not just run of the mill people that just want to talk about Xbox just to talk about it.
They never selling that. They're never selling that. That's going to be sitting in whatever room they want to put it in.
It's a collector's item for the ages. Crispy, why don't you get your opinion on this before we move on to one of the main topics of the show? What are your opinions on this? Good marketing or not?
Good marketing, because gaming's supposed to be fun, people.
Yes,
hello,
indeed,
it's supposed to be fun, okay? And Xbox is having fun with this meme, okay? They took the meme, they made it real, all right? The only problem I have with that fridge, it doesn't have the ice and water port, because I need that. All right. So if you're gonna sell those at mass market, I need my ice and water, bro. Like, come on, like. I mean, it's just that's the whole point. Like, dude, these two people that they gave it to, they were very strategic about this. Okay?
Yeah, they were.
They were very strategic. They're like, these two people are never going to sell this ever. And I've watched Justine does all kinds of wild stuff, but I almost hear Xbox out of her mouth every time she does anything. And she loves Xbox. And then Snoop Dogg didn't even show shit. Guess what? He had the Series X in the actual working console inside the fridge. And then he also had the cake that they sent him.
Yeah, imagine that.
Okay?
Cake on top of that.
And it's glowing green. And of course, he's a pothead. It's fine. You know what I mean? And he's glowing green. I love Xbox. Hey, this is never going anywhere. And that's the whole point. Like, you're never going to see this on eBay or anything. These people are going to die with these things.
You know it's funny. I wrote on Twitter because, obviously, Snoop was big in my era. Like the '90s rap is the best time for rap for R&B. I mean, for R&B for hip hop. It was my favorite time. It still is. I still listen to mostly. I don't like any of the new stuff. New stuff, it's garbage. But the old school stuff. Redman, Meth. I can go on and on, but I don't want to turn this into a rap '90s situation. But when Sony announced who they have, Travis Scott as his name is, I actually wrote on Twitter, and of course I am probably embarrassed myself. I'm like, first of all, I don't even know who Travis Scott is, but if you asked me, I'd rather have Snoop Dogg representing my console.
Well, he's got a burger at McDonald's.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know who Travis Scott is. Whatever. I know who Snoop Dogg is, and I'd rather have him representing the brand, at least the console that I'm looking forward to, than Travis Scott, who I don't know. But listen, let's move on to one of the big topics of the evening, but I have to catch up with some of these very generous and outrageous super chats that have come in. First of all, Jay Rose. We got Jay Rose. It was the last one. Chaos Might, a very generous friend of the show, drops an outstanding $10 super chat and says, I'm hearing microtransactions on Halo Infinite's multiplayer for cosmetics. Either way, I'm still getting the game. Cannot wait for the game to come. Oh, listen, folks, let's not get it twisted. There's going to be a collector's edition, and because I have Game Pass, you can be like, oh, boom, but you don't have to buy it. F that. I am buying the collector's edition. Hopefully it comes with an incredible statue. If there's a controller, I'm going to buy it. If there's a pair of socks, I'm probably buying it. And more importantly, if there's a custom console, I'm buying that too. So let's not get it twisted. I mean, am I disappointed with some of the decisions that they've done? Sure. Does that diminish my hype for Halo? Absolutely not. Clapper Dan drops a very generous $2 super chat and says Capcom has confirmed no ray tracing in DMC5 Special Edition on Series S. Yeah, that's to be expected. I mean, listen, you're going to get that on the X, and that's fine. The Series S, it's going to be a great system, but it's not. If you want all the bells and whistles, you'll spend the $500 or the $35 a month, which again, Microsoft's the only company to be doing that, to offer an affordable way to game in the next generation. Very good friend of the show, Z Black Rider, drops a very generous $5 super chat. Says the Coalition knows the Unreal Engine better than Epic Games. Facts. Yeah, they do. They absolutely do. Gotham Guy, very generous and good for personal friend of mine that I got a chance to meet last year at E3 2019. He says, boom. I just want to say I love the way you guys call it down the middle, discussing both companies regardless, both good and bad decisions. It's refreshing and one reason why I love your show and support. Dude, thank you. That is very kind of you to say. And obviously it is tremendously generous of you to drop a $10 super chat. Definitely appreciate that. JD Gamer, another generous friend of the show, drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says this: Halo is different than Call of Duty. It's the campaign that took our breaths away, and it was the multiplayer that was the icing on the cake. Stick with that. Indeed, JD Gamer. Another generous friend of the show, Reggie Mobile 9, drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, boom and crew, great show, family. People too used to safe space style podcasts. Glad that you tell it like it is. Well, thank you, dude. Super appreciate that. Another good friend of the show drops an additional super chat. Bounty Boom drops a $2 super chat and says, if that fridge was in stores, I would buy it. Yeah, you and a lot of people. Vogel's Krieg, another generous friend of the show, drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, boom, there were 3 Xbox fridges made. The third one is a giveaway on Twitter. Justine mentioned this at the end of her video. So I don't know if I'm going to win it. I doubt it, but whoever wins it, man, that is going to be dope. Infinite drops a very generous $5 super chat. Since I work in plastics, they paid a plastic molder to create the mold to place the fridge in. Each mold probably cost more than each fridge, though. Oh, wow. I did not know that. Pixel Bit G, another generous friend of the show, drops a $2 super chat. Says, are we going to complain about the Xbox cake they gave? No, I don't think we're going to complain about that. Bruno Carvello drops a very generous $5 super chat. Says, Clownz, everyone forget a giveaway. No one forget a meme. No one forgets a meme. Great point on that for sure. But, look, I want to move on to the next topic, and I think it's a good one. One of the many great things about Microsoft is that they are not afraid to try something new. And when it doesn't work, easily admit that things didn't go as planned. Well, this is exactly what happened on Friday evening when the Fanfest trivia was supposed to welcome in thousands of fans like me, like Zemi Games, like Cybernox, and many others who wanted to get in on the fun. Some got in with no issues, and others like me, unfortunately, I did not have a good experience, folks. Many could not even get into the sign-in screen. I got into the sign-in screen, got all the way up to the questions, and it just would not load. And that's fine. I mean, these things happen. We are still dealing with COVID, and you know what? Listen, it was a big event. They tried something new. It didn't work. But why I brought this up is because of the response from Phil Spencer, the leader of Xbox. And this is what Phil Spencer had to say when he did the interview on FanFest, as a matter of fact. He says, obviously, the Xbox FanFest trivia didn't all turn out the way we wanted. But I just want to say that when our teams are trying to do new things that we've never done before, I want to be 100% behind those things. Sometimes they'll turn out amazing. Sometimes they'll be a good learning experience. Now, we have confirmation from Phil Spencer himself that Microsoft is going to make it right with fans that attended FanFest and could not get in. Everyone that was registered is going to get a $10 off coupon for the Razer Kishi. I happen to have it. I think it's great. It's not as sturdy as I would like. I'm going to try a different product that for xCloud. I enjoy it. I think it's fantastic. It's just that I have big meaty hands, and sometimes I'm a little heavy-handed, so I'm afraid I'm gonna snap it. So I encourage anyone to try it out before you purchase it. And they're also going to be giving 5,000 Xbox points, or the club
Microsoft points.
Yeah, the Microsoft points that they're going to add to your account, so you can obviously trade that in for for gift cards or contests or whatever else. So you're going to be getting something, and but okay, so we know what happened with it. It didn't go according to plan. And I love the fact that Phil Spencer got out in front of it, said what he said, and then confirmed that everyone that was there, we're not going to forget you. A $10 coupon off the $89 Kishi, which makes it $79. And if you register with Razer, you can get a $10 coupon off your first purchase. So that's what I did. So register with them, wait for the $10 coupon to come in, and then you can use the $10 credit that Microsoft is going to send you, because I believe they are stackable, and take that $10 that you got for signing in or sending your email to them and get $20 off the $89. It would be instead of $89, it'd be $69, and I think that's a fantastic deal. But it's what he said after that set the internet on fire, and I think that we might be onto something here. And now Phil, he is cryptic sometimes, and I think that he does these things to test the waters, but I think he does it to stoke the fire a little bit. And this is what he had to say, folks. He says, "We'll learn. Maybe we should even be building our own trivia game like from our past, and allow people to play a trivia game more often. Maybe that could happen." Now, while he didn't mention it directly, it sounds like Phil Spencer was referring to the beloved MMO game show known as 1 versus 100, which is adopted as a live trivia format on the Xbox 360 way back in 2009 and 2010. And to be honest with you, that was extremely popular with the Xbox crowd. So I'm going to go to Forte first on this. Forte, look, again, they tried something. It didn't go as planned. They're going to make it right with fans. I'm sure they're going to give it another shot. This time they're going to be prepared for it. But besides that, what are your thoughts on the potential of 1 versus 100 actually coming back for next gen? Forte, are you there, brother?
Oh, yeah. My mic, I was talking and my mic was still muted.
It's all right,
no, yeah. Look, man, Phil Spencer, like I told you, Phil Spencer, he's always trying. He does a lot of cryptic things, but I think he's always trying to say the things that's basically going to make Xbox gamers happy in the end result, because Xbox gamers are all that really matters at the end when it comes to what Microsoft is trying to do with their system going forward. The fact that I was one of those few people that wasn't able to get into it because I signed up like a couple of minutes late and it was already full. So I kind of missed out on that one, but I did hear about the issues that was going on with that. But I think in general, when it comes to next gen, Phil Spencer, he what's the word I want to say, because we already shower Phil Spencer with all the praise in the world, because he gave us back what Xbox supposed to be this generation, which is a community first place where you can play games and enjoy everything. That's the one thing that makes me the most excited about what he's actually doing in that part. But I did miss the actual part where he actually said, what did he actually say at the very end of that? Because I didn't catch. I just caught the part about what he was doing. For
what he actually said is, "We'll learn. Maybe we should even be building our own trivia game like from our past, and allow people to play a trivia game more often. Maybe that could happen."
Yeah, that is what because now I'm just trying to remember that exactly what he said, because I did listen to that trivia. Shout out to him for actually getting up there. It was like an 11-minute interview.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, a couple people put up on their channel. I watched it actually on Mod's Gaming's channel, because he posted it like a couple of hours after it had happened. And I do remember him saying that there is the thing is, people don't think Xbox has any real tradition or anything because they're still the newest when it comes to gaming. When it comes to like the big three, Nintendo and PlayStation's been here for 20 plus years. Xbox is it'll be 20 years in 2 years. Well, actually, next year for Xbox, it'll be 20 years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I think they have a very rich story. I mean, there's a lot of things that, people always talk about that they wish Xbox would bring back with all of these dormant IPs that they have. So the fact that we can remember a lot of this stuff, it really harkens back to the things that they could really talk about. And him bringing up something like this trivia that they can actually build to actually, celebrate what Xbox is would actually be another really great idea, maybe building into a game. I remember 1 versus 100. Remember that? That was pretty cool. Dog, just being able to jump into a game and just do trivia against other people. That was cool. I used to look forward to that every Tuesday when they used to do it until they stopped doing it. So I think they have a lot of different ways that they can attack this and stuff. I think if they do want to build something like that, that could be something that they can do throughout the years. They can just throw out different polls about like what kind of trivias do you guys want to, what kind of genres? I mean, think about it. They have all of the Western RPGs on lock now. All that source material, all the things that they could talk about, when it comes to like first person shooters and RPGs and things that people will be super excited to. Remember, games like Fallout started out as a completely different game than what they are now. You got all these different tabletop versions of games that could actually come out. Cyberpunk has a marketing deal, and what people don't realize, Cyberpunk 2077 was a tabletop game.
It certainly was, like D&D. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. So they have a lot of different ways they can go after this. Who says the week that game comes out that they do a trivia night about Cyberpunk and get people excited for Cyberpunk not only just being sellable on the Xbox, but just get people excited for the next gen system. So I think he's heading in the right direction with it. I just think overall it just comes down. We just want these systems to come out, and anything that they do that's extra just fuels the fire that people want when it comes to enjoying what next gen is. Because let me tell you, I barely play games on my Xbox to the point right now because everything I have, I just want to keep for the next system to come out.
Yes.
I don't want to play Watch Dogs. I want to play it. But I'm playing it on my X. I'm just gonna wait until the X comes out. And I told everybody, and people think I'm lying, but your boy gonna play Destiny day one. But guess what? Destiny's not gonna be the only game he plays next generation because Bungie already took a generation from me. They're not doing it again.
There you go, bro.
They ain't doing it again.
Self-realization, right? Live on the air, folks.
And the only other thing I try to tell people, shout out to my co-host, but he always says Destiny's trash. What did Phil Spencer say was one of his favorite games of that generation?
Mm-hmm.
Destiny.
What game does he say he still logs in and plays pretty much whenever he ain't got nothing going on? Destiny.
You see him on Destiny all the time.
He was literally just streaming Destiny the other day with a random person that worked the senior project manager at Microsoft. He was somebody caught him streaming, and Phil Spencer was talking about Destiny and Xbox. So, bro, listen. I love Phil Spencer just for that alone, but the fact that he's making Xbox better for what they used to be makes me care even more. So I'm looking forward to whatever that man does to make this platform that we love even better.
Yeah, absolutely. Crispy, let's bring you into the conversation because you probably out of all of us appreciates multiplayer the best. I would say that it's easily one of your go-to things for Xbox. When you hear Phil talk about the realization that they did something, it didn't turn out, but we're going to make it right. So that's great. But the talk of the potential, and I think there was a very heavy insinuation. I don't think it was just like a flick of the tongue. I think he knew exactly what he was doing to test the waters because everyone went crazy when he said that. He didn't say 1 versus 100, but we know what he meant. Would you like to see something like that return to Xbox in the next gen?
I mean, that's where you go and say, I mean, what is the type of game that certain people like? And this is why, like, people trash on Game Pass, but, like, my girlfriend, her son, like, they're playing totally different games that I would ever play, and they're all on Game Pass. And you have the platform already with Game Pass. Why not do it? Why not make this little? I mean, it was a party game back in the day. It was you sit couch co-op, or now they can implement online with it and make it seamless and make it feel right. And I mean, it had so many elements involved in that game, and you had your avatars, which, I mean, wouldn't it be funny to have a crispy bomb as my head? Like, come on.
That'd be hilarious. It would be hilarious.
I mean, it would be great. You know what I mean? Like instead of just going to just normal avatars that you make or you pick or you add let's just take your account and put the picture that you have on your account as your head. And it would be pretty incredible because you know exactly who you're playing with, and it would just be funny. And I have to agree, like, am I going to play it all the time like Gears? No, I'm not. But when certain people are involved, dude, I played Rocket League for the first time last night. I mean, the game was fun.
Yeah, it's I love it. It's one of my platinums for the PlayStation 4. I platinumed that game. That's what I played it.
I don't know why, but maybe it's because the people I play with, and that's probably the point when I say with multiplayer, like you play certain games with certain people, or at least a community. Like I mean, I could play between like 20 and 100 people in any given week. You know what I'm saying? But that's the whole point. It's all about community, and that's what I love what he's doing. Like, you know what? They screwed up. Sure. Like, I didn't try to do it, but I can hear everybody else that tried. But apparently I was registered, and I mean, I'm registered. Like, I didn't try because I had to work and this and that and all the stuff that life involves. But maybe I'll get 5,000 points. And if I don't, I didn't even try. So I'm fine with that. I'm looking forward to the actual full-on Fanfest, and hopefully I can have something come from that. But other than that, I mean, they're trying to give you stuff. I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
How could you hate that?
You know, we're in a COVID world right now. Like, they're doing everything remotely. Like, they're not sitting next to each other and be like, hey, this doesn't work right. You know what I mean? And that's, you can sit here and say whatever you want, but you gotta have a conference call or whatever the hell it is, and you gotta do this, that, and the other thing, and be like, oh, this isn't right. Oh, wait, we're gonna go live in 2 hours. Well, we're just gonna roll with it because we don't really have a choice. And don't get me wrong, I work in retail. Like, we'd have a conference call, and 2 days later they change their mind. You know, that's the way it goes.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
It's a corporation status. Like, that's what you have to realize. Like, you have to be able to change at the times. And at least Phil took it to his chest and said, hey, we're going to make it right in some way, shape, or form. We're going to do the best we can.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and I love that about him. Mag, let me go to you next on this, brother. Mag, you know, when you see that it didn't go according to plan, and of course he came right out and said it live on the air that that they wanted to do better and that they'll learn from it. But when you hear where he's implying 1 versus 100 potentially coming back on the Series X and S, and obviously across all Xbox platforms, the way that Microsoft has things set up. Like, you can game on your tablet, you can game on your phone, you could remote play, you can game on your new console, you could game on your old console. You would logistically be able to be involved in this no matter where you were. And that sounds pretty awesome to me. What are your thoughts on the potential of 1 versus 100 coming back?
Well, I'm not going to talk too long about this because I wasn't there. I missed it. Okay. And I missed the show. Like, I had it actually registered and everything, and but it was my son's 8th birthday, and we got home more important. Yeah, and we got home about half an hour, 45 minutes later than it started. So I'm like, but you know what? It sounds like I didn't miss a whole lot. But I mean, what I can speak on is the response from Phil and the Xbox team. Now, I've already said it previously, okay? I don't have to keep repeating myself over and over. They do an incredible job of reacting to a situation by putting their customers' experience to the forefront. Now, I've honestly never seen a corporation, especially of this size, like $1 trillion corporation, be this down to earth and involved with their fan base. Again, they don't hide. Again, transparency.
What?
I mean,
say it for the people in the back, Mac. Say it again. For the people in the back of the room that can't hear you, we got over 400 people in here. Say it again, because I don't think they all heard you say that.
Say it again.
How can they not hear me, Forte? My neighbor can hear me.
Because you're always yelling.
Yeah, okay. They don't hide. Transparency. It's my Xbox mantra for 2020, for crying out loud. Now, by coming out in front of this situation and meeting it head on, it gives me that full confidence of where I'm putting my money. Okay. Personal information security, my faith in their product, my credit card. Okay. I feel confident giving them those things. Okay. When a company messes up and they tuck tail and run and they say like, read the fine print later, bitches. And they run away. Okay. That's what I usually get. Read the fine print and then they run away. That's what I don't like. Now, you keep it short and sweet. Okay. And you let people, you talk about their experience about this. I really didn't have too much to say about it except for those things. And again, I'm just sort of preaching what I say. But anyways, either way, this 1 versus 100 sounds great. If they do it, then I'm all in. And if they do it, this panel, I'll tell you right now, chat and panel, I know you guys will be like, wait a minute, what's Mag talking about? This panel, I guarantee we're going to live stream it. Okay, for all our fans, what do you guys think about that?
I'm definitely all in on that for sure.
Let me know what charity or something, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, do a charity night and we do like a live stream of us playing 1v100. I think that'd be awesome. So anyway, that's all I had to say about that. Like I said, because I really didn't participate, and I'll leave it up to people who did. So.
All right, well, let's get Cyber into the conversation. But Cyber, before I do, I just have to thank Makai28 with the outstanding $5 super chat and says Sony is going to send its biggest fans a Wi-Fi 6 router. And Spartan Go 17 drops a $2 super chat. Thank you for your generosity. Says Snoop helped make the game. Travis flips burgers. Almighty. All right. So Cyber, you've heard everyone's opinion so far. What are your thoughts on the fact that Papa Phil got in front of this and is going to make it right with fans, but more importantly, the fact that we could get a return of 1 versus 100, one of the most popular, very, very niche Xbox 360 experiences that only happened for 2 years.
Man, honestly, I was part of it. I thought it was cool. I thought we've all said it. They get in front of this. They're well aware of what's going on. They know some of the backlash they could have received. But what was the best thing about it, Boom? It was just like the whole community there. Like, oh, we're playing trivia. It's for points. Like that level of excitement. It's kind of like what he kind of teased with 1 versus 100. You just being part of like an actual event. It was insane. It was so cool. It was great. Like, there was picture of people. I know Nightwolf, like his picture was up. His picture showed up on the main page. Ains from Season Gaming, like so many different people. Like they were all. It was awesome, man. I had a party going on with Regulator. We were trying to get people in. I was just like, listen, let's maximize our chances of winning. Let's pool our resources, people, because these questions. There was games that like I don't play Monster Hunter World, but some of the questions were related to that, and I was just guessing at that point. I was just like, whatever. But just being part of that, like it gets your blood, pumping, like you're over there, you're talking, like you're interacting with everybody else in the community. That's what it's all about. I'm a fan of fun. You know what I mean? And that was extremely fun. I know it didn't go as intended, but kind of like Phil said, hey, listen, when they first said like 25,000 people logging in at one server at one time trying to do this, I was just like, things might get a little hairy, but man, just being part of it, it was a good time. I had a good time. They were, they had interviews with multiple people, some executives there. So I know Aaron Greenberg was there. I can't recall if Matt Booty was there. I don't think he was. But anyway, Phil getting in front of it, telling the fan base, hey, listen, we are going to make it up to you. Here's, X, Y, and Z. And man, it's just one of those things, man. They try to do something different. They try to do something for the fan. We unfortunately are living through some unprecedented times. And sometimes, it's trial and error at this point. Hopefully they'll learn. Next time, they'll be a little bit better. But man, if they keep coming, like 1 versus 100, I remember that.
That was a
And
lot of fun, dude. That was
so much
awesome.
fun. Even if you didn't get picked, you were there, and then you could see. Oh man, it was great. I love taking part of events like that. If they do something like that next time, hopefully they'll have a little bit more of a handle on how to work things out, and hopefully everyone will be able to experience it. But yeah, well done. It was great.
Absolutely. Clowns, before we close out tonight's outstanding show, which was, I didn't even realize when I was putting it
can I say
together.
one more thing, Boom?
Yeah, sure.
Listen, guys, come on. I saw a lot of people getting on Clowns in the chat. Come on, guys. It's his opinion. What we doing
absolutely.
here?
Listen,
on,
no bullying. No bullying allowed here. You start to bully people, you know what happens? You get the ban hammer, and I'm gonna sick lethal pop of the sheriff on you, and you don't want that. So don't be an a-hole, and you won't get bounced. Clowns, let's get your final opinion on this. Obviously, normally you're kind of withheld, and you're very very proper. Tonight you were a little off kilter, and you know something, I loved it. I loved every minute of it because it's your opinion, and we love hearing the true clowns come out in true clowns form. I mean, what do you think about this? Again, it was a bit of a hiccup. Sure, they're gonna make it right, and I believe it. But are you happy to that 1 versus 100 may be coming back thanks to Papa Phil?
Well, send everybody a fridge. No, I'm just kidding. To be honest, Boom, I think that's cool. If they do the 1v versus 100 and they bring it back for the fans, that's great. I never played it. I was a Full House Poker guy. That's where I spent most of my time.
That was great. I loved Full House Poker.
That was another one.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that one. So I never even knew that there was a 1v100. So now that I know about it, if he actually brings it back, I will be in there and I will beat everybody in trivia. Everybody on this panel, I will win. Just to let everybody know. In the chat, I will beat
you'll
you
get
as
a
well.
fridge.
Well, if I get the fridge, it's going to Cybernox as long as he pays shipping. I just keep the Series X inside, but he can get the fridge. He can take it.
I will take that fridge.
He can go snowboarding with that fridge down a hill. But I would be really happy. I think that's a good idea. I think that Phil is cryptic, like you said. He says many things, and a lot of times it's just because he can't be direct when they're working on stuff. A lot of stuff is under NDA. And I think, he's a gamer and he gets really excited about things and he just wants to tell us, and he just really can. He's like held back by the strings of a corporation. But he, at the end of the day, he's like all of us on this panel, right? He loves to play video games. He loves to talk to people in the industry as a CEO. He knew what to do to bring Microsoft back on track, and he was very disappointed, I'm sure, with the way that the Fanfest troubles happened, and I know that he wants to make it right by the fans. This isn't the first time they had issues with Fanfest. Back in 2017, they had people sleeping outside and sprinklers went off, and the whole thing was a disaster because I think something with the tickets didn't work right and they had too many people. So, Aaron Greenberg went out and got everybody hamburgers or cheeseburgers or whatever, and, hooked everybody up, and they made it right. And breakfast the next day. And I think with this situation that happened here, everybody's working from home. It's a lot of conferencing back and forth, telephone. The coders are probably back and forth on the telephone with the producers and the directors saying, what's wrong. And it's not their fault. Things happen. The internet's over abundance right now anyway, in general, from people at home. So much people are using the internet more than ever, like Netflix, streaming services. So ISPs are bogged down, backlines are bogged down. And I expected that. I expected something to go wrong, and Phil's going to make it right. And shout out to Ethan and Malik, man. They did a really good job keeping that show going.
Yeah,
I know
indeed.
It wasn't easy. It definitely was not easy to keep on talking, but they made it work, and they did the best that they could with what they had. And they took a lot of questions from the chat and a lot of questions from the forums that went in, and they did great interviews with the executives like Aaron and Phil. One thing I thought was really funny was when Phil was talking to Ethan and Malik, and he says, "Where was Aaron? What background is that? Where is he? Is that a ski lodge?"
He was at a ski lodge. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, it cracked me up the way Phil said it. Phil was completely thrown off that Aaron was at a ski lodge and not somewhere else home. So, but Phil's a great guy, man, and all these people, all these Xbox fans, he loves you. He loves gaming. He's gonna make it right. They're gonna do something besides this rewards and the Kishi controller, the $10 off. I'm sure they're gonna do something else for us.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, listen, folks, that's going to do it for us tonight. I want to thank the over 500 people that came out to hang out. Hopefully, before you left, you hit the like button. If you are new, please consider subscribing to the channel. Lots of live content that happens weekly. I am currently producing four 2+ hour shows a week for over 8+ hours of content each and every week. 2 Xbox Factor podcasts on Tuesday and Thursday, one each there. Monday evenings is primetime gaming. And of course, Friday mornings is Breakfast with Boom. I'm actually producing more than I'm actually gaming, which isn't a problem because I actually like talking about video games and I like producing my own content. And I want to thank everybody that has turned out to support Double Barrel Gaming. More importantly, I'd also like to thank the incredible and very generous super chats that came in throughout the entire evening. I cannot begin to tell you how grateful I personally am, but of course, we're going to be paying that forward this November. Obviously, if you didn't know, we are giving, and I say we because it's Mrs. Boomstick, my brother Neo Mental, and myself, $1,800 worth of prizes that we are paying for. We're giving away a Series X. We're giving away a PlayStation 5 digital edition with the deluxe edition of Spider-Man Miles Morales. We are giving away 10 Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 games, one winner per game. And on top of that, we're also giving away one DualSense controller and one Xbox Series X controller in white. And so you might be asking yourself, how do I win one of these prizes? Well, if you drop a super chat, you have a chance to win one of the 10 games. If you drop a super chat, you have a chance to win one of the 2 controllers. But if you are a Patreon member, if you are a channel member, yes, that is right. You have a shot to win a Series X or a PlayStation 5 digital. And yes, we will be representing Europe, the EU. If you win, I will spend the extra money to get this console to you, or I will send you the money so you could buy the console yourself because of the power cord situation. Either way, if you are in the UK and you are picked to win, I will do the right thing and get you the money or the console, either or. If you won there, we're going to represent you as well. And of course, I could not do this show without an amazing panel. We have a very special guest that jumped in at the last minute, so we'll start with him. Crispy Bomb, thank you so much for being here. As always, you jumped in, you saved us as usual as the 6th panel member. Do me a favor, brother. Tell everyone about the outstanding shows that you're a part of each and every week. And more importantly, where can people reach out to you on social media?
Yes, people, Gears is life. Thank you.
It certainly is.
But yeah, of course, you can find me at Christobomb on Twitter, Christobomb28 Xbox Live. Hit me up. Like, I'm not playing. Like, if you're not a salty asshole, like, yeah, I mean, you're gonna get a friend, and we will play games together, and that's what matters. Because I'm about fun. Let's have some fun.
Yeah.
But you got Retro Renegade 7 p.m. Tuesday nights. I will be a guest the 3rd for Gaming After Dark, which should be fun. I do believe somebody else will be there, but I will digress to that.
Yes, I will be joining you on Noof's show tomorrow evening at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
What?
That's right.
So,
I didn't even know that, and I'm on the show.
How do you like them apples? Surprise guest.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and then next podcast I believe is going to come back Thursday 7 p.m. So it should be fun. The bot is ready to roll, I think, and he's feeling better, so that's good. And of course, Breakfast with Boom Friday 10 a.m. always.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for being here, brother. Super appreciate you popping in and hanging out with us. Next up, we're going to go with our friend all the way from the south of Canada. Mag, obviously you were what we expected. You were loud, you were boisterous, and you brought the house down with you. Tell everyone where they can follow you on social media, but more importantly, check out what other shows you're on.
Well, yes, you can follow me on Twitter at the Middle Age Game Guy. That's with a GY at the end. And I'm just closing in on 600 people. I think I'm like 7 away. So help me out, people. I just need 7 more people. So anyhow, you can find me here every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Primetime Gaming with Mr. Boomstick XL and this awesome panel. And you can find me every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the always X-rated Gaming After Dark with Noof Nukem and Titan Drago. And on the gaming side of things, I finally changed my name and I got them universal. No more baloney with all the different names. So on the PlayStation and the Xbox, all capital letters, all one word, I am the Mag on both systems.
Nice.
So you can follow me, add me. We can play games. We can talk. Unless I'm playing a single player game, then leave me alone. Anyways, in all seriousness, guys, it was a great show. Great panel. Chat, you were amazing as always. Boom. Thank you so much. Everybody have a great week, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, well, thank you so much for being here as always, brother. Super appreciate that. Next up, we'll go to Cyber Knox. First of all, brother, thank you so much for not only being here on time and putting the Joker where he belongs, but tell everyone about where they can reach out to you, potentially have a conversation with you on social media, but also check out your growing YouTube channel.
Yeah, absolutely. Always a pleasure being here, guys. Every Monday, we're that much closer to our new consoles. Yeah, if you guys want to reach out to me and talk to me, I'm mostly active on Twitter. Cybernox is the handle, same as you see here on screen. Also, I'm not always, but I try to be most of the time on Xbox. That's my console of choice. Cybernox as well. So if you ever want a game, I'm trying to do this dang freaking raid on Destiny that it's impossible. It's impossible to find the people that
you got to get Forte involved.
Jesus, I might have to. I might have to. But yeah, guys, awesome show. Great to be here. Chat, you guys are great as always. Can't wait to talk to you guys next week.
Yep, thanks, brother. Appreciate that very much. Clowns, let's get you on out of here. Do me a favor, brother. Tell everyone about Four Guys with Quarters, what potential interview you have next, what else you got going on, and where could people reach out to you and send you a calzone?
Oh, yeah, definitely calzone. No fridges, but a calzone for sure. So you all can find me at Italian Clowns on almost all social media these days. Four Guys with Quarters on Tuesdays is the main podcast, and I do a new show about 3 times a week. Actually, I do have some big interviews coming up. I'm interviewing another voice actress who's on IMDb. I'm probably gonna butcher her last name or get it wrong, so I apologize in advance because I've been talking to so many people. Her first name is Kosher. Think last name Angler. I better check that because she might be upset with me. But yeah, she's really cool. She did voices in Battletoads, but she also has some credits like in Wonder Woman 1984 or something on IMDb and other stuff. She goes to a lot of different films and casting calls, and she seems to be really cool. So we're supposed to be interviewing her this upcoming week. Scott Millard from Feardemic Games, which is a subsidy of the Bloober team. And we're going to be interviewing Lucy, who is the main artist for Battletoads, but has done 8 other games as well throughout her career, and trying to work on some Xbox people. Yeah, so that's where you can find me, and thanks for listening to me on Primetime Gaming all the time. Love this panel. I love Cyber's opinions and that fugly guy in the chat who does not like me dissing the fridge. Yeah, so thanks, Boom, for the opportunity of always being here. Your show is fantastic, top notch, and the only way to go is up, buddy. I told you a long time ago, you're one of the best.
I appreciate that very much, Clowns. Thank you very much. Definitely appreciate the very kind words. And last and no way least,
I'm just gonna say this real quick. I'm sorry. Major Nelson is already playing Watch Dogs Legion. I'm looking at it.
Of course
right
he
now.
is. Yeah, of course he is. Whew. I'm not playing it. I bought the $120 edition because that's how I roll in all Ubisoft games. But listen, let's get to the man who I believe is the second coming when it comes to community. Being a community leader, more importantly, an outstanding content creator. Forte, you have really exploded. 2020 has been, wow, a year for you, and for good reason. The content you're putting out is outstanding. Tell everyone where they can check out your outrageous channel, but more importantly, what other shows are you on?
Yeah, Gaming Forte everywhere, YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live even. Definitely love the conversations that we always have on the show. It's one of the one of the shows I look forward to the most when it comes to just being a part of this show with you guys. But you can check me also out on DPS Podcast. We moved it, no longer on Tuesdays. It's on Thursdays at 9 p.m. You know, a little less crowded on that day. I don't know what the heck we were thinking going head to head with RDX, but but a lot of people were saying, yo, man, we love the show, but we can't watch you and RDX. So, you know, we had to lead way to the goats when it comes to that. So we're on Thursdays now. Also check us out on BRAP every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. and Crossfire every Friday, 7 p.m. And even if I'm not there, the Ash and Luca, check them out. Scumcast has been blowing up. Check out her content she's been putting on her channel. Really love the work she's doing over there. And as always, man, it's always going to be about community when it comes to me, because without community, we do not survive.
I agree. Appreciate it. 100%. Now, obviously, community first. That's what this particular podcast, as well as the foundation that Double Barrel Gaming was built on. Anyway, listen, folks, I want to thank everybody that still hung out for the outros. Big content coming from Double Barrel Gaming. This week is packed, and we have a tremendous amount of content the week of the release of these consoles. So stay tuned for more updates on that. Everyone, listen, have a great night. Enjoy gaming on whatever console you enjoy gaming on. You know, obviously be nice on the internet. You know, don't be a keyboard cowboy or cowgirl and just write horrible things. Don't do it. And don't bully anyone either. People are allowed to have different opinions, even if it doesn't jive with yours. And I'll close out this show with something that's important to me. Hopefully one day it will be important to you. And it's something that my father taught me when I was a kid. And he used to say, son, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, and I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone, and we'll see you next week on the newest episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. Boomstick and Friends.